breaks a couple of tackles, and look at him go! And look at him go! He could go all the way!
It is a beautiful night for football here in the Holy City, where the Oceanside Landsharks, ranked in the top 5 of 2A, are facing off against a 5A opponent, the Gamecocks from Sumter, and they're also ranked in the top 5 of their division. I'm Robert Brunson, and I got my man Chris right here with me today. You ready to go?
I am more than ready. It is a perfect night for Friday Night Light high school football.
Yes, sir, it is. I even brought a jacket tonight, so I'm ready. If it gets a little bit chilly, that would be the first time I've worn one of those in months. At any rate, we've got quite a football game coming our way tonight. Sumter, of course, not a team the Sharks have ever played before. They come into this game undefeated, 5-0, and coming off of a shutout over Summerville where they won 20-0. And Chris, their defense is going to be the thing,
yeah,
right?
It's absolutely their hallmark. It always has been. They are tough. And I tell you, last night the JV squad played up in Sumter County, and we saw a little bit of foreshadowing of what we may see tonight. Always tough on the front D line. Their linebackers do a lot of blitzing. But I tell you, the star on their defensive squad might be their safety.
Yes, sir. That'll be number 19, the guy with an offer from Appalachian State, a school that, by the way, is having one heck of a college football season this year, and his name is Zaire Gamble, and he is their feature guy. They used to have a guy who was a 4-star, but he's no longer on the team. So Gamble, as far as I know, is their only Division I football commit.
I believe it's so, and from what Coach Wilkes knows of Zaire Gamble, he claims he's one of the best defensive high school players he's ever seen. And We're going to have – Sharks will have their hands full trying to go deep against him tonight.
Their 5-0 record looks like this. They beat Lakewood in their opener 42-9. That's their only real blowout of the season. They took Ridgeview down by 1 point, 15-14, and Ridgeview has a 3-2 record. Goose Creek, who's having an awful year, lost to these guys by a score of 31-14. Crestwood went down 21-14, and as we said, Summerville, I said the wrong score. I said 20-0. It was actually 16-0. And, you know, it looks like, Chris, these guys are not the team that's going to put up 50 or 60 points on anybody, but they're going to play it probably solid fundamental football, and that would come from their head coach, who has a little bit of connection with our head coach. Am I right?
You are right. Head coach Mark Barnes actually gave Chad Wilkes his first coaching assignment when he was out of college. Coach Barnes was the defensive coordinator at Sumter, if I recall correctly, and he hired Chad to come in and work with his defense. And so Coach Wilkes owes quite a bit to Coach Barnes, and, you know, you could see those two talking last night, and the respect is pretty mutual. Unfortunately, our JV Landsharks lost 31-22, and there in the last minute, they had a chance to punch one in for another score, and they did the right classy thing, and they took a knee. And one thing I want to say about last night was a great football game, and we've got a lot of Sumter fans listening in tonight. We shared the link with their coaching staff, had a great chat with their head baseball coach, Coach Trent Fry, and really want to welcome in the Sumter fans tonight. And, it's a couple of Oceanside dads doing the broadcast, but we always keep it classy. We try to not do the homer calls too much, but we want to celebrate great sportsmanship and great athleticism on both sides of the field tonight. So we're looking forward to having those Sumter folks listening in tonight.
We make no claim to objectivity, let me put it that way, but we'll try and tone it down just a little bit and have some fun. And we do welcome all the Gamecock fans tonight as the captains walk out onto the field. Oceanside wearing their all-black uniforms and blue numbers today. And there's no 73 on this roster, but that looks like Monroe Freeling to me out there for the Sharks. Is that right?
That's correct. 76 is his normal number. Either is gotten too small for the big fellow, or we're just trying to get a larger jersey size.
And Vaughn Blue also out there, our star running back, number 24, Timmy Castine, number 50. and big number 54, Ben Britton, who is celebrating tonight, getting his second college football offer from these guys right here, the Bulldogs of the Citadel.
I know Coach Brent Thompson and our good old friend Coach Joe Call will be here tonight watching their new signee and or their new scholarship offer, and they might be looking at a couple other Landsharks. You never know. I also saw coaches from Charlotte and Colgate here tonight too.
That's the great thing about having stars like Ben and Monroe Freeling and Vaughn Blue on your team. They bring the scouts in, and some of the maybe lesser-known guys have an opportunity to score some points with the scouts as well. We got a couple minutes to go here before we're going to kick this one off as the referee tosses the coin out at midfield, and let's take a look and see who's going to kick this one off. I'll tell you, Swish, I've been looking forward to this game for a while.
Yeah, you know, it's one that we've circled a long time ago. And listen, this is our second 5A opponent. There's no question strength of schedule for a 2A school like ours has to be the highest in the state, taking on what we've taken on. We've done well so far, but make no mistake, this is going to be a real challenge and a good test for us tonight.
Well, we're off to a good start. Oceanside wins the toss, and we elected to defer to the second half. So Sumter is going to be – I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Sumter is going to be kicking it off to us, and we'll take it on offense in the first half. And the Sharks, of course, over there getting ready to come flying out of that Sharks head in the corner of Johnson Haygood Stadium, the home of the Landsharks for this year. I don't know if they're going to have some smoke and pyrotechnics over there tonight or not, but that's always something we look for.
It's coming. Old Ben Britton love that kid. I say it every time we have a broadcast, but number 54, really the heart and soul of this team. You could say on both sides of the ball, but there he is holding that American flag out front, and make no mistake, he's going to get his team hyped and ready to go. But yes, the smoke will be coming out.
Some of the guys to look for tonight on Sumter, John Peoples is their leading rusher, averaging 115 yards a game. Their receiver leading is Frederick Edwards. That's the quarterback. He averages 56 yards passing a game, which doesn't really scare you too much.
No, talking with Coach Fry, and we just were exchanging a little bit back and forth. There's I think from his perspective, what he was sharing is that they've got a really good balanced offensive attack, and it's not one-sided in terms of they throw the ball a lot or they run the ball only. But really the key for us to watch on Sumter is just that menacing defense that they bring to the field every Friday night.
Their leading tackler is Bryson Cuffey. He's their middle linebacker and a junior, averaging almost 10 tackles a game. Their sack leader is Jordan Lowry. Nate Butler leads the team actually in interceptions this year. As the Sharks get ready to take this one over, and we've got a drone here tonight, and I tell you what, I love that thing. I've got to get one.
Well, that's, again, when you've got a bunch of nerdy dads like us trying to put on broadcasts. We've got smoke coming out of Sharks' mouths. We've got drones that are going to give us coverage. We've got fans calling in with crystal cams from the stands. So we're just trying to make it better and make it a little fun for our folks that are watching the games. So
let's see if we can get a quick shot of the drone before Dion lands it over here. There you see it. We can't fly that thing over the field when the teams are playing, but we are able to bring a video feed in from it. So we might try and get some video from the drone as we move forward here in this big game between the Sumter Gamecocks and the Oceanside Landsharks. A game that doesn't really mean anything to either team in terms of postseason eligibility, but a game that sure means a lot to the Landsharks as they take on only their second 5A school. And their second 5A school in this season as well. Never had a single one before. And I believe Carolina Forest, was that the 5A school we played?
It is. And I'll tell you tonight, maybe just a quick update offensively. What we'll see is we're out one of our offensive linemen, Owen Millard. Unfortunately, he's got a bit of a torn meniscus issue. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, hoping to get him back for the stretch down region play. And, of course, Tuck Swisher's still out. We're hoping to get him back next week against Lake Marion. And let's keep an eye on Edward Reidenbach as well. Rolled his ankle up a little bit last week, and let's see how he's performing as well. So there's a kickoff. The ball taken over Up to about the 26-yard line, Robert. Decent field position. Let's see how we get things underway here.
Genesis Johnson, number 17, doing the kicking honors for Sumter tonight. And we're going to get ready now to see if we can move the ball on this vaunted defense of the Gamecocks from Sumter.
And, Robert, we're going to be without our game clock tonight. I see one end zone is working and the other's not, so we're not going to have that clock ticking down. So that makes the officials' challenge a little bit harder, keeping an eye on the play clock there.
And we're all set. I assume Edward Reidenbach has recovered fully from his injury that he incurred 2 weeks ago over in Marlboro County, because he's in there. He's going to give it to Vaughn Blue. Vaughn tries to get around the right side, but he's slung down. Only picked about 1 yard up on that play.
Yeah, you've got to figure every team that's going to play Oceanside this year, as long as number 24 is in the backfield, they're going to focus their entire defense around that, and it's going to be up to us to establish, can we get Vaughn in space and let him open up the game for us that allows a little bit more passing and more of an aggressive attack from that standpoint. But if I'm any defensive team, it runs through number 24 for Oceanside.
No question about that. We come out with the 3 wide receiver set. Trey Brown, the H-back, goes in motion left to right. Edward claps his hands, takes the ball, fakes it to Vaughn, slings it downfield, a little bit too high for big number 6 over there to bring that in. I think that's who it was. Not number 6,
Cole Strickler, number 8.
Cole Strickler, thanks. 2 weeks off, and I've forgotten everybody's numbers, jersey numbers. But that's par for the course when you're my age. 11:11 to go here. We're in the first quarter, no score. Thank you for joining us, whether you're a Gamecock or a Landshark. As Edward Reidenbach, our quarterback, always in the shotgun unless we're deep down inside the red zone, takes this snap. He's rushed a little bit. Edward gets past it, throws it, but it's incomplete. Bryce Bennett, the intended receiver. And Monroe Freeling and the guy he was up against, they wound up way back around the 12-yard line, and didn't see exactly how that dance ensued.
Well, they had a nice exchange afterwards. I'll tell you one thing that I saw last night on the JV defense for Sumter, man, they brought a lot of blitzes, whether it was the linebackers coming in or they're doing defensive D-back blitzes. And we saw that coming in. Everybody did a good job stepping up into the pocket, but we're going to see that all night long, Robert.
Looks like Jake Rook is going to do the punting honors tonight. Typically, Edward Reidenbach has been doing that earlier in the year. And Jake, who's also our kicker, gets this one up to about the 50. It has a little bit of a bounce into Gamecock territory, and the white uniforms are going to take it on their own 48. Pretty good field position for them to start.
Not bad. I'm actually really excited to see what kind of an offensive set these guys come out with and see if they can try to get something established early. Listen, I've talked a lot about Sumter's defense, but Oceanside's is pretty daggone good as well.
No question about that. The Sharks pride themselves on a good defense. They're out there in their vertical line now to keep the Gamecocks from seeing what our defensive alignment is going to be as we started out here. 1st and 10, they're going to mark this one right on the 50-yard line. It's a handoff, and the running back runs through for about 5 yards. That's number
22.
Number 22. John Peoples. He's their leading rusher this season, averaging over 100 yards a game.
Good pickup on that. That's, first down and picks up 5 yards, sets them up nicely with a 2nd and 5. Ball on the Oceanside side of the field already.
They're going with a single running back offset to the left in sort of a pistol formation as their quarterback looks over to the sidelines, takes the snap. He wants to run it. It's an option play. He pitches it back again to number 22, Peebles. He picks up a first down with a gain of about 7, maybe 8 yards. They'll move the line of scrimmage up to the 37, 38-yard line of the Sharks.
Boy, their JV team executed that beautifully last night and killed us on that play. And we finally started wising up a little bit, so let's see how much they stick to it. But I tell you, there was a great blocking on that left side of their line that sprung that play for them.
They go with the 3 wide receiver set and an H-back, kind of like we do, but one of their big offensive linemen moved early, and that's going to cost Sumter 5 yards, and they'll have it 1st and 15 now as they're going to move that line of scrimmage back. Our defensive line, of course, anchored by Timmy Castine, number 50, as well as Ben, number 54, Ben Britton, who we've talked about earlier in this game.
Out there you also have number 70, Mike Jones, a true freshman, 14-year-old, man, playing lights out for us. And then Dylan Baker, number 11, is the other down defensive lineman.
Dylan, it looks like, is over on the right side, and that would put Mike over on the left, although I don't see Mike out there. It looks like somebody different. No, I see him. He's over there right with Dylan.
Yep.
At any rate, Peoples takes the handoff, and he meets Timmy Castine, I think it is.
Yes, sir.
And Timmy makes a vicious tackle at the 46-yard line of the Sharks. And the Gamecocks are moving backwards on this drive. You got to like that as the clock moves down to 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Quickly, the Gamecocks back up to the line. 4 wide receiver set. They're facing a third down at about 17 yards to go. Looking over to the sideline in this likely passing situation. Their quarterback gets ready, takes it. He rolls out to the right, wants to throw back the other way, setting up a screen pass. It's completed, but we bring him down. The helmet comes off of that player. It looks like we ripped his head off. I couldn't tell from here who made that tackle, Swish.
I couldn't either, but it's number 29 who got the helmet off, so he'll have to come out for a play. But now it's third down and 15, 16, it looks like.
That was Drake Rook with the tackle.
Terrence Burgess was the receiver on that screen pass to the left side.
Hey, I like his attitude. He's trying to get back out on the field. And the referee said, not so quick, young man. So go off for one play, but I'm sure we'll see him a lot tonight.
Now it's a 3rd and 15, 9:23 on the clock. Again, a passing situation for Sumter. 2 wide out, split evenly. Quarterback takes it. It's going to be a run. Peebles takes the handoff. He picks about 5 or 6 yards up. That is not going to be enough for a first down. They're facing now a 4th and 10. With the ball spotted back at the original line of scrimmage.
You know, one key for us, Robert, I want to keep an eye on tonight is our linebacking play. Against Marlboro County, we had great linebacking play. Max Mormon, Trey Brown, Jace Krafchick.
Nobody deep for the Sharks. A bad snap over the head of the punter. He chases it all the way back to the 34-yard line where he falls over it. In the middle of a bunch of black uniforms, and the Sharks are going to have great field position now inside the 35-yard line.
Look at our man, Coach Dave Salazzo, out on the numbers. So pumped up right now, smacking hands with his defensive squad. He's loving life right now. Hey, and that's what's going to happen tonight. The team that's going to make the fewest turnovers probably is going to be the victor. You can't turn the ball over against these guys, and they can't do it against us. So that's a big, big swing for us.
Interesting that the Sharks had nobody deep on that play to receive that punt. I don't know if that meant they were just going to go all in on trying to block it, but none of it mattered because the snap was way too high. As our offense comes back out onto the field, this time we're going with 4 wide outs, no H-back. And it's going to be a handoff, though, to Vaughn Blue. Vaughn trying the middle. I don't know how he did it. Vaughn Blue picked up 6 or 7 yards, and it looked like he had nothing when he got to that line of scrimmage. Man, his yards after the first hit must be incredible.
It's a different Vaughn Blue that we saw from last year. Again, he was trying to be pretty elusive, get to the outside go. This year, he's not scared of putting that shoulder down and blowing through defenders.
Now we got a 2nd and 4. Which is a pretty good position to be in here on the 28-yard line of the Gamecocks. We put Bryce Bennett in motion. He's going left to right. Hand it off again to Vaughn. Vaughn, he has a first down. Vaughn crosses the 20, down into the red zone where we're going to have it 1st and 10.
Boy, he ran into our own people and slowed his progress down, but made that lateral jump cut, got to the outside, stiff-armed someone, and picked up again. You're right, those yards after contact are huge for Vaughn this year.
Now the Sharks looking back over to the sidelines. They're getting a signal for what this play is going to be. We're in the end zone, but just barely at the 18-yard line of the Gamecocks. Gamecocks in the white uniforms, and we're in the black, going right to left now. Our best field position of the night thus far on our second drive, which was a 3-and-out. Edward Reidenbach ready to take this snap. Usually he runs it a fair amount. Has not run it yet tonight. He had some room to go there, but instead he throws it. Jace Krafchick all the way down to the 2-yard line.
What a circus catch. My gosh, that kid does it day in and day out. when you need a big play, number 12 is always there. Great hand-eye coordination. I was watching it with binoculars. His eyes went right up to it and never lost concentration. Great play by Jace Krafchick.
And give Reidenbach credit there. Instead of running it, and he had a lot of green in front of him, he saw Jason, slung it right into his arms. We're inside the one with a first down, 1st and goal. Edward keeps it. Quarterback sneak. Looks like they stopped us about a yard short of the goal line, maybe even a little bit less than a yard.
He's on the 6-inch line there. It's right there.
And I'm guessing we're going to see that same play again. Edward, number 1, gets his offense ready. Again, he drives it in. He's in the end zone this time. No question, that's a touchdown. And after a second or two, the referee's hands go up. And the Landsharks strike first with a touchdown after a bad snap on a punt by the Gamecocks. And we very efficiently brought this one into the score.
Got a flag. I can tell you in that bottom of that pile probably wasn't talking about what their course load is and what their after game plans are going to be.
And let's see what the referees are going to do. The White Hat standing right around the 14-yard line. They're going to assess it on the kickoff.
Who's it on, though?
Is it unsportsmanlike conduct? I'm not sure what the call was. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
On Oceanside.
On Oceanside. So that's what I thought. That's the way the White Hat pointed. So now we're going to have Jake Rook out to try and add one more point to our 6-point lead here in the first quarter. Ball is up and in.
That's Quinn Mahoney, our freshman kicker.
Thank you, Swish. Anytime kicking's going on now, I'm thinking it's Jake Rook. Edward Reidenbach does the holding. He's getting some congrats there. He went straight to the 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you, pretty indicative of what you just said there. That play that he extended and moved in through the pocket was really patient and found Jace here in the corner, but traditionally we'd say see Reidenbach take that ball. And, man, he's a bruising, punishing runner as well, too. He's 6'1", 220-ish, and he's a tough runner to bring down.
I know we're all glad to see Edward back out there tonight. We weren't quite so sure because he was hurt late in the game against Marlboro County 2 weeks ago, which was the last time the Sharks played. Last week was a bye for the team, and next week we begin conference play, I think it is, right?
Versus Lake Marion here at Johnson Haygood on Friday night.
And I'm going to have to leave you to your own devices for that one. I won't be in town, but then I'll be back the next week. Clock's got 8:53, no 6:53 on it. That's 6 or an 8?
That's a 6.
I think we're too far up here. I'm not going to accept service on having bad vision this year.
We'll keep you on the right side of that, my man.
That's great. I have no pride of authorship as Jake Rook hooks this one up, and it's down to the 10-yard line. It's bobbled by the receiver. He then picks it up around the 20. He's hit hard.
Number 37, Cale Gilchrist. What a great tackle. What a great downfield tackle.
And our special teams are mighty special here in the first quarter so far.
I tell you, it's probably a little shock to Sumter's system. You think about, man, they held Somerville, blanked them, right? And here in the first quarter, very opportunistic from the Landsharks, taking advantage of that bad snap. But that's a tough way to start the game. And I'll tell you that I don't like seeing those unsportsmanlike conduct. We don't know what happened down there, but assessing it on the kickoff didn't really hurt us too badly. I see there's a flag on the plate. Did anybody see what that was?
I did not see what that flag was.
It was down about the 30 on the Oceanside end of the field. I don't know if he just is going to wave it off, but I don't see anybody making any kind of a – Chad Wilkes is out on the field trying to figure out what the situation is as well, too.
No signal from the White Hat. He's standing on the 20, and now he signals it. It's against us. Delay of game?
No, I think it's a head.
So they're saying it's a personal foul.
Boy, they're pointing right and left, and they don't know what's going on.
the Sharks are all pointing towards Sumter's end of the field. We had the impression it was against us, but sure enough, the Sharks are correct as they march this one back to the 11-yard line. And now the Gamecocks of Sumter, South Carolina, are going to have a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. Last time they had a 3 and out, I think it was. I know they had a punting situation that didn't go so well for them. They had a bad snap there, and their quarterback now takes it, throws across the middle. The receiver wide open all the way up to the 25-yard line before he runs out of bounds.
That was a great little rub route, crossing route, and our guys got tangled up tracking their respective receivers, and that was a really well-executed play by Sumter.
Jordan Hayward, number 8, on the reception for the Sharks. That gives them a 1st down. Now they're up to their 24-yard line after picking up 14 yards. If you're just joining us, the Sharks are up 7-0 with 6:40 to go here in the first quarter. Snap now. It looks like they're going to do a misdirection to Hayward, number 8. This time he took the pitch. He crosses the 40 to 50. Hayward down to their own to our 40-yard line, and there he's bounced out of bounds.
Jake Rook on the takedown there, but poof.
So Justin Hayward, number 8, doing damage to us. 2 plays in a row there.
Their receiver had a good stock block on his spawn, number 2. They let's tip the hat. They executed that play really well also.
Pate Merchant, number 10, I think it is their quarterback today. He's going out of the shotgun for the most part. Usually has an running back off to the side behind him. He does here. He gives it off. I believe that's going to be number 22 who's getting most of the carries, John Peebles. As they untangle the pile there. Not much of a gain. That's going to make it 2nd down, 10 yards to go. They're in Shark territory on our 41-yard line.
Jace got his helmet popped off there, so number 33, A.J. Zarzaka, is going to come in for a brief moment to spell Jace. Let's see what happens here now, guys.
Marchant, the quarterback, now has 4 wideouts. Before taking the snap, they all look over to the sideline. Number 22 still in as the sole running back, John Peoples. And Merchant takes it, hands it off. Peoples doesn't find anything, trying it up the middle, and we tackle him after a short gain.
Yeah, great job by Max Mormon stepping up. He's wearing number 23 tonight, so it's a little bit of a tricky situation for us. He's normally number 20, but Maxie did a good job stepping up and making sure we didn't give up any extra yards there.
So the Sharks picked up about 1 yard. It's going to be 3rd down, 7 to go for the Gamecocks. They're being tested here with a 3rd and fairly long. They've had a couple of nice offensive plays on this drive. Quarterback takes a high snap, pulls it in, throws it in across the middle. The receiver bobbles it, can't bring it in, and it's going to be 4th down.
Hey, good. That was a great play design. It was the right play to call there, 3rd and long, nice little screen pass, but I think they have some room to run if that's a clean catch over on that side of the field for them.
Swish, I'm looking to see. I don't think they have a punter on the field. They're going to go for it.
Yep.
On 4th down and about 7 to go. The ball's in our territory. But if we can recover it on downs here, that would be pretty good field position for the Sharks the 2nd time in a row. Clock heading down towards 5 minutes. First quarter. Marchant, the quarterback, number 10.
Yep.
And this time they blow a whistle, and the Gamecocks are going to give this one a little more cogitation.
That's what we've been missing. I missed that last week, that vocabulary that you like to bring out from time to time. Hey, listen, one thing there you got to make sure from a Landsharks side of the ball, you don't want to jump. You don't want to give them a cheap 5 yards. But, it tells you one thing. At this early in the game, if they're going for it on 4th and 10, they know if they kick the ball down and get, pin us deep, it's not going to necessarily stop that. So I like the aggressive positioning here that Sumter is taking on this 4th and long this early in the game with 5:16 left in the first quarter.
It shows a lot of confidence in their defense. We've had 2 drives on offense. The first one started deep in our own territory. It was a 3 and out. But then after a Punt snap went over the head of the punter, and we had great field position around their 25-yard line or so. We took it in 3 or 4 plays on the second drive, and that's how it is. We have this 7-0 score. Big play here now. 4th down, 6 or 7 yards to go. March it, the quarterback, has Peebles in the backfield with him. 4 wideouts, likely throwing situation. Bad snap, but he brings it in. He's pressured in the backfield, and finally he's brought down by a bunch of Landsharks, and that's got to be Monroe Freeling in there.
Along with Dylan Baker and Big Timmy Castine.
That would be 3 large human beings.
I love bringing Big Monroe Freeling in on that 4th down. He's equally as brilliant on the defensive side of the ball as he is offensively, but that was a big stop, Robert.
And for you Gamecock fans, Monroe Freeling is our big star. Tonight he's number 73. He's a 4-star, the top recruit in the state of South Carolina, according to some, and he's committed to the University of Georgia, which blew out the other Gamecock team last Saturday. I know Monroe was watching that and licking his lips.
I think he's I tell you what, I like the fact Monroe has not taken his foot off the gas pedal even after getting the big offer. Delay of game.
Whistle blows. We don't have a play clock, so it's hard to know if we're taking too much time. The referee's pointing in our direction, and they march off 5 yards, so I'm going to assume that's what it was.
How does that happen?
Now we got a 1st and 15 at any rate, 5:08 to go, first quarter. We're going to go with an H back. I think that's Jace. Handoff to Vaughn Blue, number 24. Tries to use a block, then bounces back towards the middle. Picked up about 4 or maybe 3 yards on that carry. That's going to make it 2nd down and about 11 for the Landsharks.
He got tackled by 6 Gamecocks there. Number 1 did a good job for them holding out here. It made Vaughn change direction and go back into the middle of the pile. But, man, he's scrapping and fighting for his yards tonight.
We had one of our receivers on the left side, one-on-one blocking their left cornerback over here, but they were in a stalemate, and Vaughn couldn't get around it. Now it's 2nd down at 11, likely throwing situation, but yes it is, and it's a quick toss across to number 3, Zach Hagedon. That's the first reception, I think, of the year for Zach, primarily a defender, and he's going to be really close too, and he gets a 1st down.
Boy, it's great to see Zach. Not only did he have a great catch and secured in traffic, but fighting for those yards after catch to get the 1st down was huge for us. Zach,
one of our excellent athletes, a speedster. Great to see him out there as a receiver.
You know who's enjoying that tonight? His pops, Andy. It's his birthday tonight.
Happy birthday, Andy. 3 wideouts right, 1 to the left. Vaughn Blue in the backfield, takes the handoff. He's got some room on the left side and a good block. Give Jace Krafchick, the wide receiver, credit. He made a nice block that gave Vaughn an extra several yards and probably enough for a 1st down. Let's see where they're going to put it, right on the 31-yard line. That's where the line of gain is. They never hardly take measurements. It should be a 1st. I don't know how you can put the play marker with the down on it any closer to the line of gain.
There they go.
Yeah, there we go.
When's the last time you've seen anybody measure in a high school football game?
Last season, I remember 1. And it was a very critical situation. I can't remember which game. Now we've got the H-back, Trey Brown, in there. He goes in motion. Edwards surveying the defense, takes the snap, gives it to Vaughn. Vaughn had a crease on the left side across the 25, all the way down to the 23-yard line.
Man, Vaughn, how does he make something out of nothing like that?
He does it. He had a little bit. There was a nice little crease on that left side of the line, not a big hole. Number 63 is the guard over there. That's Finn Johnson.
Yep. Good old Finn.
Left tackle is Monroe Freeling. Those are the 2 offensive linemen on the left side. Edward takes it, gives it again to Vaughn. Vaughn blasts through the line of scrimmage, picks up the 1st down. He was looking at a 2nd and 2, and he got about 5.
I tell you, let's love on our O-line a little bit. You know, a little nervous with Owen Millard being out over on that right side, but Timmy Castine has jumped in there, and they are just taking care of business early, which is great. And Vaughn is hitting the holes like, remember, you always say, Vaughn, don't hit those holes too hard, right? Given the reverse psychology, but he's really hitting those at top speed and making good jump cuts tonight.
And Ben Britton is out there as well on the right side. He's the right tackle. Edward takes it. There was an offsides on the white jerseys over on the left side of the line. And that's probably going to cost them 5 yards unless I miss some movement by the Sharks.
No, I tell you, that's that aggressive style of defense. I saw it last night, and they were really timing almost every snap when Tanner was getting ready to clap his cadence. And a couple times he threw him off and got him to jump. But they're going to try to time. There's a couple times we couldn't get a running game going against them because their defense was so aggressive up front and with their linebacking crew.
1st and 5 now. We're at the 3-minute mark, first quarter. Again, a 5-yard penalty for the Gamecocks. That's going to give us a first down, Swish.
Exactly what I just said happened last night. We learned from it and caught him again.
Nice cadence change by our quarterback, number 1, Edward Reidenbach, who has the white ankle wrap on his left ankle. I think it's his left. We're going to go with 4 wideouts this time inside the 10-yard line on the 8. Trey comes in now as the H-back. Vaughn follows Trey through the line, gets inside the 5. They're going to mark him right down at the 5-yard line where we'll have it 2nd down and goal. The Landsharks playing a lot of their best athletes both sides of the ball tonight. We've talked about it before. That's what Chad Wilkes likes to do.
We're going to go, I see Edwards off on the sideline here. We're going to go heavy package.
Edward over talking to the coaches, coming back in now.
I would imagine Vaughn Blue's going to take the snap and try to punch this one in here, guys.
I would think so. I'm looking to see if they're going to go with 2 running backs. We moved too early on the right side. It was a wildcat formation with Vaughn Blue in the quarterback position and looked like he wanted to run to the right side because that's where the guys got a little antsy and moved too early.
Well, I'll tell you, it's no surprise if Sumter has watched our game film, they know exactly what's coming. And it's kind of you match up mano-a-mano and see who wins that battle.
Vaughn coming back out there. I wouldn't be surprised to see that same Wildcat-type formation again. I don't know if we call it the Landshark formation here or what, but it is sure enough. Vaughn back there. He's got 2 blockers with him in the backfield on the left side. He's going to follow them. They wrap Vaughn Blue up in the backfield, and he loses 3 yards.
Like I said, no secret what's happening here. It's just a lineup and see who can execute better, and they won that battle. So I see Edward coming back out now because now it's 3rd and goal from the 14-yard line. Gives us a little bit more room to potentially throw the ball here.
In all likelihood, we're going to spread them out here with 4 wide receivers. Jace Krafchick over here on the left side, Trey Brown, Bryce Bennett, and number 8, Cole Strickler over there on the right side. Riding back still has Vaughn Blue with him in the backfield. Vaughn's running a swing route on the left side. Edward throws it to the end zone. It's caught, and it's a touchdown. Jace Krafchick,
wow,
number 12, with his 2nd huge catch of the day.
Man, give credit to the O-line. Give credit to Edward for not panicking and ejecting. He put a ball beautifully, high-pointed it to Jace. Man, I've got goosebumps on that one, guys.
That looks like 2 guys who throw together a lot in the offseason. I'm going to guess they know each other quite well. Jace also took a vicious hit in the end zone and held on to it as our kicker puts it up and in.
Number 83.
And that's Quinn Mahoney, number 83, with the extra point. And the 2A Landsharks in the first quarter up by a 14-0 score over the undefeated 5A Gamecocks from Sumter.
I tell you what, you can't talk enough about what Jace Krafchick has done on the offensive side of the ball this year. I mean, virtually not a whole lot of targets last year, but boy, when it gets down to needing a big play, Jace is our big playmaker on the receiving side, and he's been spectacular. Probably not a bad catch to have in front of the Citadel coaches, Colgate, Charlotte.
Not at all. These colleges should be looking long and hard at number 12. An excellent athlete, and he gets a little bit overshadowed, I think, on this team on the offensive side because you've got Vaughn Blue back there, number 24, who, of course, is committed to the University of Charlotte, a team that's playing the South Carolina Gamecocks, by the way, tomorrow night. And, of course, Ed Reinbach, the quarterback, But Jace definitely leading our wide receiver core this season, and it seems like every catch he makes is a big and important one for the team. Jake Rook, number 10, puts his boot into it. They're going to field it at about the 11-yard line, running up the left hash mark, then to the sideline. A good run back for the Gamecocks. They got it across their own 40-yard line, but there's a holding penalty on that play, and that's going to bring it back. Looks like the hold took place around the 29-yard line. That penalty would be from the spot of the foul, and sure enough, the referee is marching off 10 yards. That'll put it at the 19, and that's where the Gamecocks will take it. 1st and 10 with 3 ones on the scoreboard, 1:11 to go here in the first quarter. We got a bunch of happy Landsharks in the stands.
I would like to see a stat on the percentage of kickoffs or punts that get flagged for holding. It's got to be high.
So Ben Britton back out there along with Timmy Costine, Dylan Baker, number 11, and Mike Jones, number 70. A quick pitch to the running back. They're going to lose 2.
Great job by Ben Britton on pursuit there. Number 54 just strung that thing out. I tell you, if you remember that play that was great, they tried to do that here, and it was a bit of a reverse, and that was that big one that they ran. So we've got to be careful that we just don't over-commit, over-pursue on those. But great job by Ben on that one.
Yeah, they hurt us the first time they did that one, but not this one. 2nd and 11 now. I thought he lost a couple, but it looks like it was only one. The quarterback, Marchant, he pitched it back to Peoples, number 22, who's done pretty much all the running tonight for this Sumter team, dressed out in all white uniforms. Quarterback faked the handoff, rolls out to the right side, has a man downfield, number 8, who's done some damage for him already tonight. Just Jordan Hayward, that's his 3rd catch of the night.
Again, great play design, play action to the left, quarterback boots to the right, gives time for the play to develop and struck a really nice throw there.
Now it's going to be 3rd down, 1 yard to go as the first quarter comes to an end here at Johnson Haygood Stadium. I'm hoping we're going to get some first quarter stats.
Your man,
we shall see.
He's working on them. Bill Sandvig kindly sitting up top with us again tonight, punching in stats.
The main stat, of course, that counts is the score, 14-0, and there's a recognition taking place out at midfield.
Oceanside Collegiate Academy with the top school in 3A for the 21-22 school year. Joe Bonlamier, SCAAA board member and past president, is here to present Oceanside with the 2021-22 school Carlisle Cup banner to AD Mark Meyer and Principal Christina Brown. Congratulations to Oceanside from the SC 3A board.
13 plays, we've had 16 of them. We've got 5.5 yards per play. They've got 5.2. That tells you a lot about the relative field position that each side has had here in the game. Riding back 4 for 5 passing, and the other side is 2 for 3. So both teams have shown the ability to throw the football. On the rushing side, Sumter has rushed it 10 times, and they're averaging 5.5. We've run it 11 times, averaging only 4.2. So they're picking up more yardage than we are on offense, as now the Gamecocks have their own Wildcat formation. I was a little confused as they try to pick up this 3rd down and 2.
Boy, Monroe had him in the backfield. Peoples did a good job of getting that forward momentum and shook off Monroe's big, long arms there.
So Peoples picks up the first for him, the line of scrimmage now on the 31-yard line of the Gamecocks as we get ready on defense, and the Cocks look over to their sideline for the play. Again, they're going with the pistol formation with the running back offset. He started offset to the left, to the right. Now he moves over to the left, almost lateral to the quarterback. A fake reverse. No, it is a reverse. And Hayward takes it across the 30, right back to the line of scrimmage, and our defense strung it out quite well and made the tackle for no gain.
Yeah, Jake Rook, Dylan Baker, and then Maxie Mormon came over and finished him off there at the end. But You got a sense that Sumter may be having to dig deep here in playbook a little bit, and we're seeing lots of different looks from them, but defense is holding strong here.
I think that was number 3, Amarion Smith, on the carry. As Marchant, their starting quarterback, is back in there. He wants to pitch it back to number 22. We trip him up in the backfield, and that's going to give him only about a yard gain.
Ben Britton on that pursuit.
Ben Britton, celebrating his second college offer, makes the tackle. Now they're facing 3rd and 7, and they're trailing by 14 here in the first half. Sumter, again, going to try and convert a 3rd down play. They're going with 3 wideouts and an H-back. Their H-back wearing those bright yellow shoes. Go ahead.
He's done a great job blocking, and he's playing his position incredibly well tonight.
So John Peoples, their running back, has shown some capability. Fake to him. It's a little pass over to the right side. It's going to be enough for a first down all the way up to the 48-yard line, as that bowling ball receiver was looking pretty good. I can't see his number.
Well, that was your H-back, number 37, went in motion and then just bubble it out to him, like I said, playing his position really well tonight. And also, too, we're getting a lot of different looks from Sumter's offense, and they're executing at a pretty high clip right now.
William Dinkins, the 4th, is that H-back who we were just talking about. Quarterback takes the snap. 22, Peoples takes it. He's hit and slung back right at the line of scrimmage. Timmy Castine, number 50.
Timmy's got that signature tackle. When you hit him, you stop running, and he basically picks you up and kindly spins you around and lays you down on the ground.
He likes to dance with his victim before he throws him to the ground. March it now back there with 4 wideouts. They're looking at a 2nd down and about 9.5 yards. Marchant takes the snap, drops in the pocket, and we've got him in the backfield.
Oh, and that's Timmy Castine again, number 50. He's having a whale of a night.
And Timmy was assisted by Monroe Freeling, I think, back there in the backfield. But that one was mostly Timmy, who has 2 big tackles in a row. And now the Gamecocks are looking at a 3rd and 15.
I'm afraid old Coach Salazzo's going to have a heart attack. He's so excited right now watching Timmy play.
Well, I'm not going to be able to help him because I'll be receiving CPR up here myself. As we're looking at the Sharks performing quite well against this 5A undefeated team. They're going from a different quarterback, number 4 in there now, throws it deep down the right side. The receiver fell down. We intercepted it right at the 30-yard line.
That's my guy, number 2, Tess Spahn, baby.
And I don't know why Sumter brought in.
Well, because their quarterback's helmet got knocked off on Timmy's last sack. He had to come out for one play. Bring in number 4, and he tosses the long ball underthrown, and Tez did a great job. I saw Tez before the game, and I looked at him and said, "We ready?" And he said, "I am locked in." Sure.
Well,
certainly showed it on that play.
Frederick Edwards was the number 4, the quarterback who came in there. And normally when you bring a cold quarterback in, you don't have him throwing it deep downfield, and that one was into a very well-covered receiver. And, of course, the quarterback had no way of knowing that the receiver would fall down, making it a little easier for Tez. Edward takes this snap, gives it to Vaughn Blue. Vaughn charging up the middle, across the 50, the 40, the 35, the 30, and then he dives like Superman all the way down on the 26-yard line.
Man, Vaughn Blue. I know Uncle Justin up in Philly, or the Philadelphia area. I know Papa Sal watching tonight. His family doesn't get tired of seeing that.
A lightning streak right up the middle of the field. Vaughn Blue was going too fast for anybody to make any meaningful contact with him. And now we've got it, 1st and 10 in the Gamecocks territory on their 27-yard line. Trey Brown, the H-back in there, but he splits out to a wide, so we're going to go with 4 wideouts. Edward drops back, rolls out to his right now, pressured, throws it, and he's got Jace Krafchick at the 17, 18-yard line of the Gamecocks. That is going to be enough. It's going to be close to a first down, and they're moving the chains. So sure enough, Jace with his 3rd big catch of the day gives us a 1st and 10 on the 17, 18-yard line of the Gamecocks. We're all looking over to the sideline. Edward has his hands on his hips, and he's hobbling around a little bit in there. It'd be nice if we could put another score on, give Edward a little less pressure playing hurt tonight. He hands it off to the running back. That is not Vaughn Blue. I think that's A.J. Johnson.
It is. Vaughn is on the sideline. Katie Stovall, our awesome trainer, is checking Vaughn out. Something happened to his right hand when he got tripped up on that big run and went down. I don't know if it's dislocated. I don't know if it's cut, but Katie's in there wrapping that thing up right now. So let's wait to see what we can get a status report on Vaughn.
A.J. Johnson, a much different style of runner than Vaughn Blue. He pounds it in there. And he's going to be in the backfield with Edward now as we face a second down and 7 yards to go. Trey Brown in there, goes in motion at the H-back. A.J. takes the handoff. He's got great blocking on the right side. He's going to go in the end zone. Holy cow! A.J. Johnson coming in and taking advantage of his opportunity with a great touchdown run of about 12 yards.
I tell you what, we watched him do that all year long last year on the JV level, but think about this, coming cold when your star running back comes off and he takes 3 straight handoffs, and that was not an easy run, and that was not a walk-in. He just pound. He is hard to bring down.
And don't mean this in a derogatory way, but I think the Sumter Gamecocks don't know what's hit them here at Johnson Haygood Stadium as we put the Mahoney extra point up and in and make this a 21-0 score, still with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
So good news, I'm looking at Vaughn right now. Katie's got his right thumb taped up. He's nodding his head like he's good. Vaughn's talking to his mama on the sideline. We know Ashley's worried about Vaughn, but it looks like he is going to be taped up, and he's ready to get back out there, guys. So
I'll be really interested to see what Vaughn's yardage is after the first half. He's had a couple of nice ones, none better than the one on that drive that set up the touchdown. Streaking down the middle of the field. And our offensive line, thus far, so Bill's telling me Vaughn's run it 10 times already for 88 yards. Easy math, that's an 8.8 yard average for number 24. And if it's easy math for me, anybody out there can do it. Man, the Landsharks just shocking these Sumter Gamecocks, coming in 5-0, a 5A team. Only the second time the Sharks have ever even played one of these big high schools, not to mention one that's undefeated. Certainly the only time we've played one with a 5-0 record coming in here to our field. 7:17 is your time on the clock. Vaughn Blue, Jace Kraftchick, Ben Britton, Monroe Freeling, some of the names. Let's add A.J. Johnson to that list, who have made a big impact here in this first half as Jake Rook gets ready to kick it off from our 40. That's a nice one. It's going to drive them all the way back into the end zone.
Good.
And that's going to be an automatic touchback.
Well, that's a huge benefit for having Jake. Again, all-region soccer player, basketball player, just all-around great athlete, take over kickoff duties that we so missed from last year.
And I was giving some props to our offensive line, which I'll continue to do here, because coming into this season, we were kind of concerned we lost a lot of guys off of that offensive line. But so far this year, our offensive line, reconstructed with a bunch of new faces, is really doing the job. And now, Marchant, pistol formation. Gives the handoff to 22. He's hit in the backfield. Oh, my goodness. He's just stood right up. These Landsharks are playing some physical football on the defensive side tonight. I think that was Jake Rook. Am I right on that one? Let's say it was, and he really stood the running back, number 22, who's done some damage here tonight, John Peoples. He's still in there. Quarterback number 10, Marchant's going to go with 3 wideouts and an extra tight end. He's going to fake the handoff, rolls out to the right side. Oh, he's hit hard and pressured. He's completed it to the receiver, but I think he was out of bounds.
Boy, that quarterback took a lick after the throw. He's gimping and hobbling around a little bit. Tough kid. But there's no way he's going to take himself out of the game right now either.
It took some concentration and no small amount of courage for him to throw that ball with, I think, Ben Britton
Right in his face.
right in front of him.
Yeah, that was our freshman. Mike Jones was in there.
Okay, Mike Jones, thanks for the credit. Scott Marchant drops back. He's got a 3rd and 10.
Boy,
he throws
great
it
throw.
completed to number 4. It's going to be enough plenty for the first down all the way up to their 44-yard line. Number 4, of course, is Frederick Edwards.
Great dig route and great concentration after that big hit that quarterback took to step up the pocket, let that play unfold, and throw a strike right over the midfield.
No kidding. These Gamecocks not about to start slacking off or giving up, even though they're down by 3 touchdowns. And, we got to keep our concentration up as well. Peoples takes the handoff, has a little space in the interior line, picked up 4 yards on the carry up to the 48-yard line.
Boy, I like that. Great sportsmanship by number 51 on Sumter, pulling Timmy Castine up. You don't see that too often, but whoever that young man is, let's give him some love.
You said 51 or 54?
51.
That's Jalen Sanders Davis. And the play's underway as the running back gets up close to the line again. That'll be enough for a first down.
That's that old option pitch play that killed us last night. So they're sticking with some bread and butter that works for them, but they're also, like I said, executing some pretty wide array of plays offensively.
John Peoples has had a lot of carries, and he's picked up a fair amount of yards tonight for those Gamecocks. Decked out in their all-white uniforms. We're on a blackout night tonight as they're facing a 1st and 10 in our territory at the 46-yard line. The H-back dancing all around in the backfield, and Marchant takes it and throws it to the receiver on the left side. He's going to have some good yardage, but the flag is down. Number 8 was the receiver on that play, Jordan Hayward, but this one's going to come back.
Man, I tell you what, I love that 37 for Sumter. I would take him on our squad all day. He's doing it all. He blocks, he runs, he catches, and he's thick.
He was in motion that time, and he went out and made the blocks for the receiver on a little screen pass over on the left side of the field. And I didn't see what the call was by the referee because I was yapping.
It was a holding call.
So that's going to put the Gamecocks with a 1st and 15 right around the 50-yard line. Let's call it their 49. They got 3 wideouts. Peoples in there as the running back. Marchant drops back, pressured in the backfield, rolls out to the right side. Marchant still looking downfield, has a receiver. Oh, my goodness. The receiver was hit but couldn't bring it in.
That's a backbreaker. Quarterback does a great job evading a huge rush, throws a strike downfield 30 yards, and it just pops in and out of his hands.
Jordan Hayward, that was number 8. He's made some good plays tonight, but he's going to have some nightmares about that one. As we're at the 5:05 mark, second quarter. Sharks up 21-0. Another big play, although it's is it 3rd down or second? Second down and 15 because they had a penalty on one of them.
Oh.
It's a short pass. The receiver gets it all the way up to the 48-yard line before he's bounced out of bounds by Zach Hagedon and Jake Rook.
Well, that's your number 8. What I love about going right back to him after he had that drop, have the confidence in him. You know he's a player. Hit him on a nice little play there, and he picked up some good yardage for the Gamecocks.
That was actually Tez Spine, not Zach Hagedon on that tackle. As now it's a 3rd down. 7 yards to go. Just under 5 minutes, second quarter. Sumter, option, pitched it to Peoples. We hit him right at the line. He falls forward for 2. That's not going to be nearly enough, but swish. Are they in the part of the field here where they're going to go for it on 4th down?
They're down 21-0 right now. If I'm in my head, if I'm on that sideline, you cannot afford to go into halftime without putting a point on the board. And so right now, I tell you what, if they don't convert 4 minutes on the clock with what we're doing tonight offensively, that's a lot of time versus pinning us deep.
They're going with 4 receivers. Peoples in the backfield with Marchant, the quarterback. Marchant drops, wants to throw it over to the right side, has a man, number 4, just past the first down marker, and Frederick Edwards with a big catch to keep this drive alive for the Gamecocks.
Great timing play there, just a comeback to the outside. It's pretty safe play. You use the sideline as an extra protector there, but great timing play and, again, executing well.
I like their quarterback. He really keeps his eyes downfield. I don't think he's run it yet tonight himself. He gives this one to Peoples, number 22, who's done most of the work toting the football. He picked up 4, gets it down to the 31-yard line for the Gamecocks. They're sustaining a fairly long drive here.
Yeah, that's where I start that you think about that defensive pressure. Let's keep an eye on our front line. Are they wearing down a little bit? They've been going pretty hard all game, Robert.
Lots of hands on hips out there on the black uniform side of the field. Gamecocks got into position. We got into position. Then they looked over to the sidelines, and their running back moved from the right to the left, and he's going to take the handoff. It gets hit, though, right at the 31-yard line. No gain on that play for 22.
Great job by Ben Britton. Jace Krafchick stepping up and filling as well, too.
And we got Monroe Freeland out there on that defensive line as well right now. So we're really putting the big boys out there to try and stop these Gamecocks here late in the first half. They're trying to draw some blood. They haven't gotten in the end zone yet today. This is a 3rd and 6. Marchant drops. Oh, my goodness, he's hit. Did he get away? He sort of did, but then we brought him down anyway because there were more than one Landshark in that backfield.
Timmy Castine, again, architecting a brilliant defensive game, and just as I loved on number 51 for them, there's Timmy putting his hand back down and returning the favor back to the quarterback.
They're going to go for another 4th, but this one's a little bit longer. 4th and 14. Marchant has shown the ability to throw the ball. He's thrown it scattered around to various wide receivers. This time he's going to have 2 on each side. Peoples with him in the backfield, not likely to get a handoff here. And the whistles blow before he can get the play off.
Good call by the Landshark coaching staff taking a timeout. This is a big, big play. This is a big play. Great timeout call. Yeah, catch your breath, reset your head, and then take a look and see what formation that Sumter came out in. Brilliant, brilliant timing of that timeout.
Couldn't agree more, Swish. It's a big play for Sumter, but it's kind of a big play for us too. We really want to leave this score as a shutout as we go into halftime here at Johnson Haygood Stadium. We're hosting the 5A Gamecocks from Sumter coming into this game undefeated. The Landsharks were 4-1 after we defeated the first 5A school that we've ever played, Carolina Forest, earlier in this year. And that may have given these guys some confidence that they can really play with one of these big schools, even one that comes in undefeated and ranked in the top 5 in the state. And as the timeout comes to an end, we got 2:26 to play here in the first half. Sumter fighting for their lives here even in the second quarter with a 4th and 14. Marchant drops back. We want to pressure him. He has a man, throws it over his head downfield, and we're going to take it over on downs.
Hey, Robert, I love that quarterback of theirs. I want to make sure we just had someone type in it. Its last name is pronounced Merchant.
Okie doke.
Not Marchant, but we want to make sure we got that correct for our Sumter fans out there.
Yep, it is spelled Merchant too. That's my mistake. I just misread it.
It's all right. I tell you what, we're going to be saying his name a lot because he's really, really doing a great job for that Sumter offense. You can tell he's just a good natural leader out there.
He is. He's got a great arm. You can tell he understands their offensive scheme. And Swishy's really come through in the pinch for him several times tonight when we thought we might have had him pinned. So now we've got it, 1st and 10 on our 38-yard line. Sumter looks like they want to press us. They do. They come in there with a little blitz and bring down Vaughn Blue for a 2-yard loss. Make the line of scrimmage now the 36. 2nd down, 12 yards to go. 2:10 on the clock. The clock is moving. Sharks up by 3 touchdowns.
So, Robert, at this point, do we press or we got 2 minutes left? You know we can strike quickly, but it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Chad Wilkes decides to do here as the clock is down to 1:50. Do we try to take a shot, or let's not get greedy and let's just walk into the locker room with a nice lead?
We took plenty of time to come up with that play, which makes you think it might not be a handoff, but it is. Vaughn Blue crosses the 45 to the 50. Vaughn Blue with another streak right up the middle. This one picked up about 14, 15 yards. We're rushing back up to the line. 1:37 to go. Clock is stopped now for the first down. And now it's started back again. Sharks looking over to the sidelines. The Gamecocks in shock because these Sharks have come in and put 3 touchdowns on the board without allowing a single point to the Gamecocks. Vaughn again takes the handoff this time. Only picks up a couple yards.
We've got 2 timeouts left, so let's see if we take one here. Clock is down to 1:10 and ticking, and we're not taking a timeout.
And we're not really moving very fast either. The Sharks, of course, like to move the ball fairly quickly, and I'm surprised we're just letting the clock tick here, Swish.
Well, there we go. We let an extra 20 seconds tick off. I don't know, but I tell you what, our guys are working hard tonight, and who knows? Maybe you're right. We like to have a hurry-up, quick offense, and nothing that we're doing right now is reflective of us wanting to get down and put another score on. Have plenty of time, but like I said, let's not get too greedy. Our guys that are really in the trenches winning the war on the O-line and D-line, they've been playing all night, so maybe we take it a little bit easy and re-strategize and make some in-game adjustments at halftime. So.
And you got a running back in number 24 who can strike from anywhere on the field at any time. Vaughn really a standout tonight with a couple of really nice runs right up the middle of the field. You can see his hand is wrapped. His right hand has tape on it. We don't know exactly what he did to that right thumb area, but he did something after his biggest run of the night earlier in the game.
I would be surprised here, Robert, to see us take a big shot downfield.
And I wouldn't be surprised for number 12 to be involved, but I don't see him on the field. Unless that's him right there on the right side. I think it is. Edward takes it. Wants to throw it. Has a man. I think that's Bryce Bennett, but he doesn't pick up anything on that one.
That was actually Vaughn split out left. I tell you what, that scared me. That whoever that defender was closing, it looked like he could have just waltzed right in front of that and taken it to the house. And that's why you don't throw those kind of passes right now and give them a 7-point gift when they get the ball coming out of halftime.
Third down, 9 yards to go, 30 seconds in the first half. Edward wants to throw it downfield, looking, slings it across the middle. It's incomplete. That ball was intended for...
Looks like Cole Strickler, number 8.
Yep, Cole Strickler.
And I'll tell you, that's where you can tell Edward doesn't have his regular mobility. Typically on that, he'd eject, and he'd pick up that first down on his own. You can tell that he's moving a little bit differently tonight.
Interesting how our offense have had to adjust. We have really used Edward as a running threat all season long. He has no runs tonight except for a couple of quarterback sneaks that accounted for our first touchdown of the game. But now we're going to punt it with 28 seconds to go. This guy with some bright shoes is down there on the 15-yard line.
Let's kick this thing out of bounds. Let's get it in the corner. This is where we're missing Owen Millard right here at center. We've got A.J. Johnson in snapping the ball, but it's a great snap. They're bringing a heat. Nice kick by Jake Rook. Man, moving his guy back down to the 5-yard line.
Inside the 4, he's coming. He's got some room over on the right side, but a flag comes in. In all likelihood, that's going to be a messy block.
Well, you could see from up here an absolute block in the back. And then whoever our defender was knocked the ball loose from the runner, but it trickled out of bounds. And we've got 16 seconds left, and that's going to be moved back way deep into the Gamecock territory.
And if you're the Gamecocks here, you probably ought to play it kind of safe this deep in your own territory with just a little bit to go on the clock.
Yeah, just take the knee and go and try to figure out what in the world just happened for those first 2 quarters.
Stick with us at halftime. We're going to have the stats from the first half of the game. Looking forward to seeing what those numbers are. And they picked the flag up and waved it off, Swish.
Why would they do that? You can see it from up here.
I cannot answer that question, but I can tell you it is a 1st and 10 now for the Sumter Gamecocks with the line of scrimmage on about the 22-yard line. 16 seconds to go in the game. The Landsharks are pitching a shutout, folks. 21-0, your score here at Landsharks home field of Johnson Haygood Stadium. Now, Merchant, number 10, the quarterback, in there with Peoples. Has 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right, wants to throw it to the right. Did he complete that one? I couldn't see. It looks like he did. Yeah, and he picked up about 3 yards, but the clock down to 5, 4, 3, and I think the first half is going to come to an end right here at Johnson Haygood, and it does. And I'll tell you what, the Sharks with a lot to be happy about here. Swish after that first half of football, which leaves the score 21-0 in favor of Oceanside.
I just looked up the schedule and their record so far. The most any team has put on them for an entire game has been 14, and we put 21 up at half. So you know that coaching staff's got to be pretty frustrated trying to figure out what in the heck just hit us in the face.
And Swish, we're doing it with number 1 hobbling around on the field and him really not being able to run the ball at all.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And number 1, of course, is our quarterback, Edward Reidenbach. He's a junior, right?
He is.
Wow. 2 good years he's got to play quarterback here for the Landsharks, and he's really impressing. Let's talk a little bit about these stats. First on offense, Sumter's total offensive yardage, 134. Oceanside has picked up 172. And one thing you're going to notice about these stats is they're not dramatically in favor of the Landsharks, even though we've got a lopsided score here. 34 plays run by Sumter to our 25. They're averaging 3.9, and we're averaging 6.9, so a big difference there, largely due to a couple of big runs by number 24. Passing yardage, 68 for Sumter, 56 for Oceanside. Merchant, the quarterback for Sumter, is 7 for 12, averaging 9.7 yards. And he's got 1 interception. Tez Spahn picking it when their receiver fell down over on the right sideline. Passing yardage for Oceanside, 56 total. Our quarterback, Edward Reidenbach, is having a good night, 6 for 8, averaging 9.3. He's got 1 touchdown. That one was to Jace Krafchick. No interceptions. Now let's take a look at the rushing yardage, Swish, and tell us what we're looking at.
Yep. That goes in favor of the Oceanside Landsharks, 116 yards to Sumter's 66. They've had 22 attempts. We've had 17. Yards per rush for Sumter's 3. For Oceanside at 6.8. And largely all on the back of number 22 Peoples for Sumter, and then our Vaughn Blue, number 24. Take a look at some other stats here as well, too. Penalty-wise, there's been 6 for 46 yards on Sumter. Oceanside's had 3 for 25. Again, you mentioned the 1 turnover. That actually wasn't Merchant. It was that number 4 that came in and threw that long ball when Merchant's head got knocked off, his helmet got knocked off.
You're right.
And then time of possession has been pretty even split. 12 minutes and 17 seconds for Sumter and 11 minutes and 27 seconds for Oceanside. So, like you're right, the stats, if you didn't know the score right now, you're like, man, we're in a dogfight, and it's 0-0 necessarily, right?
Some of that is field position. On our first scoring drive of the night, we took it over after a bad snap on their punter, put them down around their own 25, and it only took us a few plays to put that one in.
Yeah, I'm looking just a couple more stats here on first downs. They've had 8. Sumter has 8. Oceanside 12. Third down conversions. This is interesting, right? Sumter is 3 for 8, so about 37.5%. Oceanside is 1 for 3, 33%. And then on fourth down attempts, they've gone for it 3 times on fourth down, completing 1 of those, and so they're 1 for 3, and then we haven't had any fourth down attempts as well, too. So,
how many third down attempts have they had tonight?
8. They've converted on 3.
That's a lot of attempts on third down. So they're moving the ball a lot slower, it seems like, than the Sharks are.
Yep. Again, I think you hit on it. Field position's been big. Very opportunistic scoring for the Landsharks as well, too. And we were praising very heavily on their defense. I think their defense is a great defensive team, but I tell you the defensive story tonight has been Oceanside and that front line and our linebacking core. Yeah,
that defensive line, I tell you what, it is something else. And you can't say enough about number 50, Timmy Castine, number 54, Ben Britton. We've seen a lot tonight of Mike Jones, big number 70. Monroe Freeling has played a lot out there on that defensive line. Also very notable as we were talking about the trenches here. Again, Ben Britton and Timmy Castine at times have been the guard and tackle on the right side of the offensive line because the Sharks are playing without one of their starting offensive linemen. Owen Millard, and I think you said he has a torn meniscus.
Yep, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. The goal there is to get him ready for the playoff run. So this is our last non-region game, so region play starts for us next week when we host Lake Marion next Friday night, and then we have a bye week, which is nice to have and get recouped, and then we play come back with Academic Magnet at North Charleston. We then have senior night and homecoming against the BE Battling Bishops on October 21st, and then we end the region play up at Timberland to end the season, the regular season for us. So if we can get Owen healthy, got his dad up here. Can we get Owen back in the next by playoff 4 or 5 weeks? So I tell you, but man, listen, Timmy's had probably his best defensive game, but he's been plugging it on the offensive side as well too. So.
Yeah, Merchant, we've complimented him a lot on his quarterbacking skills. He's not much of a runner, but he really manages the game well. He's quick. He can avoid people in the backfield, but I'll tell you, he has seen an awful lot of number 50 and number 54 in that backfield when they were not invited to the party.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, let's talk about guys stepping up a little bit too. How about Vaughn goes out and A.J. Johnson comes right in and takes 3 power runs right down the throat and punches one in. Love seeing him get that ball carry. I'll tell you, one thing to note is hopefully we'll see number 22 back next week, being able to give Vaughn a spill because Vaughn's getting the work done. But Tuck Swisher, hopefully back from a broken leg situation, suffered in the first week of the season play. A bit of a torn MCL, but he's rehabbed like crazy. Believe me, it's killing him not to be out there, but he likes seeing his pal A.J. Johnson punch that in. So.
No doubt. Tucker, a starter for us on defense and also playing a lot as a running back on the offensive side, spelling Vaughn blue from time to time. And we will all be glad to see Tuck back on the field. Nobody happier than him and his family, that's for sure.
Well, I know he could have dressed tonight, but part of the problem was we were worried that old Coach Dave Salazzo, if he sees 22 suited up, he's going to try to grab him by the neck and throw him out there. But we got another week or so, and then we get Swish back, we get Owen back, and then we've actually, knock on wood, we've got some around here. We've had a pretty decent, healthy pre-region season so far. So.
Yes, we have. Not nearly the number of injuries that we had, seems like, last year. So we were due to have some healthy players. And speaking of last year, you and I talked some before the game about tracking down some of our graduates and seeing how they're doing in college, those who are playing football. And one of them is Rico Harrell, number 1. He's at William and Penn, and he's a wide receiver there. He was a star here on both sides of the football. As a freshman there, he's getting some playing time, and his dad, Big Rico, sent me a film clip of Rico running a long play on the William and Penn game earlier this season, and it looks like the same guy. Heartwarming to see him doing well in college.
Yep, and also tonight we actually have a couple of alumni parents in the house for the game. I know Jason Ashley's here. Actually grabbed a bite of lunch with him today and talking a little bit about Jacob having a great first freshman start to college at VMI. He gets he's number 2 in the depth chart right now, but he gets on extra points and field goals, and he showed me a couple photos. I don't think I've ever seen Jacob smiling as much as I have just in those photos, but he's adjusted to a pretty it's not just your typical college, right, going to a military college, so he's doing great. And then I know Gabi and Mark Gauss are here tonight as well, too. Will is starting as a guard for Denison, which is up in Ohio tonight, or I think they made the trip to Crawfordsville, Indiana, to play Wabash, which is an all-male school. Tough little school as well, too, but he's on the road, and so got to make sure to get Gabi to send us that live stream so we can watch that game. So he's doing great as well. And then what else? We've got some other updates on some other players.
Yeah, Sean Cooney, you may remember, way back when Chad Greer was the head coach in 2019, was the starting quarterback for the Landsharks with a great deal of success. He went to Drake on a scholarship where he is on track to graduate with his BS degree in data analytics. And he's looking forward to going to the University of South Carolina to get his master's in business analytics, or possibly Notre Dame to get his master's in sports analytics. Sean always was one of the top scholars on our team and also the quarterback of the team. He's still playing football for Drake. He's running the scout team and has the potential, he thinks, to start a little bit for the Drake team at some point. Richard, his dad, who of course kept the stats for us here for a number of years, giving me that report earlier today and saying that Sean should definitely be the starting quarterback right now, but that's a dad's opinion.
Yep, and we got lots of them, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And it's good to see these guys off in college and playing. We haven't, of course, reported on all of them. There are others, and hopefully from week to week we'll get more reports and be able to tell you some more about where they are now.
Yep, super proud of the tradition. I know what Oceanside is only 6 years old.
Hard to believe, right?
Yeah, 6 years old, but we've established a tremendous tradition in football here, in large in part due to those guys that are playing at the next level, but a lot of them that didn't play as well too. I mean, we've started from nothing in a short period of time, have really put together a nice tradition, and you kind of got to like what you see with young coach Chad Wilkes, 30 years old, fiery, competitive. He is I think you would define him as a hardcore football coach.
Hardcore is for sure. And I'll tell you what, he may be coaching the best team in the history of this program. I think you could make a really strong case for that.
It's very well balanced, and the thing that I think Coach Wilkes brings here, if you think about his background, growing up in Sherrall, he was a quarterback for 2 state title teams, went off and played in New Hampshire, I believe, football-wise, converted to a defensive safety, defensive back, and then when he came back and got into coaching, we said he got his first start here at Sumter, way back when under Coach Mark Barnes, and then he made stops along the way at C.E. Murray and at Lamar, and those are both small schools, single-A schools, and so what that tells you, he's always had to do a lot with little, and so what we're seeing him bring that kind of a mentality to Oceanside. And listen, sometimes we don't have the luxury of having a set offense and a set defense with 11 fresh players on either side. And he's really crafty at getting the most out of our players and being very opportunistic about making in-game adjustments.
And let's talk about some of the other members of his coaching staff. Of course, Antoine Rivens, the former Gamecock from the University of South Carolina, is the assistant head coach and the offensive line coach. And, man, he's got a lot to be proud of with the way this young offensive line is playing this year. The co-defensive coordinators are Dave Salazzo and Justin McIntyre, and they also have quite an accomplished defense that they're putting out on the field, led by those defensive linemen and those linebackers. The tight ends coach is Andrew Niemeyer, who lost his father, Willie, and we're all just heartbroken to hear about that. And he was honored with a moment of silence before the game tonight, and our hearts are all heavy as we call this game tonight. The linebackers coach is Chris Hutter, wide receivers Cody Burkhoff and Matthew Harkness. Jared Shaw is strength and conditioning, and our trainer is Katie Stovall.
I tell you what, I always loving on Katie whenever we get a chance. She talked to her last night after the JV game, and that young lady, she just loves her job. And I always say, she spent a lot of time with Tuck on the rehab aspect of things, also with Tanner earlier in the season, my two boys, but the boys both say Katie is really, really good at her job, and when I tell her that, she gets almost kind of embarrassed because she's just like, I'm just doing what I do, but she purely loves what she does. And I tell you, she might swing the biggest hammer on that staff. When she says yes or no, those coaches kind of fall in line, and so I love the respect that she's earned in a short period of time, but she is an absolute advocate of those student athletes that are out on the field day in and day out.
So both the Sharks and the Gamecocks are now trotting back out onto the field where they're going to warm up for a few minutes before we get back in action here at Johnson Haygood Stadium, where your Landsharks are up by a score of 21-0. Robert Brunson here with you on play-by-play. Chris Wisher is doing the color calls, and Scott Kravchik is our producer for all of these games. And, man, we can't say enough about the great job that Scott does. He has brought so much talent and expertise to these broadcasts, so much more than when I was kind of trying to do it all myself. And we're in a totally different league with it now, and we welcome all of you and thank you for joining the broadcast, especially those of you from Sumter, South Carolina, the fans of the Gamecocks. They got a good contingency here in the visiting stands, considering that Sumter is a pretty good drive from here, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. I've been on that drive a million times.
I got to tell you, when I love the field. It's called Memorial Stadium. It's about a mile from the high school, but it's kind of like a bowl shape. It is a really unique setting, and I can almost envision on a Friday night when that place shuts down and they pack it in. And we're going to find out next year because we're headed there. But you tell they've got a tremendous spirit and a tremendous heritage of their program. A couple of state titles. They've made it to the state finals quite a bit as well too. But it's a proud program, and one thing is for sure, Robert, they are not going to roll over and play dead here in the second half.
No, they're not. The Sharks are going to not be able to slack off here at all, and I'm sure Chad Wilkes gave him an earful about that in the locker room here at halftime, because this is a fine, fine football team that Sumter brings here tonight. They're undefeated, as we've said a number of times, at 5-0. They're a 5A school. They got about 10,000 players on their team. It seems like a lot of white uniforms out there. Their quarterback, number 10, Merchant. I've been calling him Marchant, but his name is Merchant, and I apologize for that. But he's had a very solid game, as has number 22, their starting running back, who's taken just about every carry from the running back position for them tonight. Some other standouts tonight making big plays for the Gamecocks. Number 8, Jordan Hayward, has had some big catches. He's a senior wide receiver for the team. Frederick Edwards, number 4, came in and threw one pass that was unfortunately intercepted, but he's had some really nice plays other than that as a wide receiver. Amarion Smith, number 3, has had a good play or two. So a number of athletes that they have on this Gamecock team where they're able to spread the ball around. As we said, coming in here tonight, Sumter has a heck of a defense, has not given up more than 14 points to any team in their first 5 games of the year. And tonight they have just run into a buzzsaw known as the Oceanside Landsharks, and we've put up 21 points on them here in the first half.
Well, hey, they get the ball back, and you know they've got some changes that they've made, some adjustments that they'll try to execute. And I tell you what, they're not going to roll over, right? They are going to come out fighting, scrapping, and clawing. So this should be a heck of a second half that we've got set up for us here, guys.
And Scott Kravchik finally makes his way back up here. We sure have missed you during halftime. We're all tangled up. I need to step over here.
There you go.
There we go.
You'd think we've been doing this a while, we'd get this figured out, but we look like a couple of rookies right now.
Yeah, but you couldn't be having any more fun than we are up here in the press booth at Johnson Haygood Stadium. Robbie Bennett, of course, the assistant AD and father of Bryce Bennett. And we can't thank Robbie enough for all the accommodations he's made for us here this year and over the years. The weather tonight, perfect, 68 degrees and clear. Swish and I both wearing long sleeve sort of pullovers for the first time this season. Put away the short sleeve shirts.
Hey, I got a quick update on Vaughn. It was a dislocated thumb, maybe strain. He has it taped up. Definitely going to be back.
I saw Katie down there tugging on it and trying to either snap it back in place or make sure she got it wrapped up. But like we just said, she's real good at her job. And I tell you, Vaughn's not ready to go out there. He's not going to get out there. but I'm glad he's good, Scotty. Thanks for that update.
He did not seem too impaired. He still played quite well after coming in after that thumb injury, and we're hoping it hadn't swollen up or anything at a halftime as Jake Rook gets ready to kick this one off. And what an addition he has been to this team this year. Never been much of a football player before, but this kickoff goes all the way down to the 2-yard line where Sumter's going to cross the 20 with it, the 30. Nice run back. I think that's number 4. Has it all the way up to the 35-yard line.
Well, guess who made the tackle? The kicker.
Jake Rook. Well, he's a linebacker. You know, he's not like your typical kicker who you don't want making tackles. He's one of the better tacklers on our team. That might have been Hayward, number 8, on the return. Scott tells me indeed that's who it was, Jordan Hayward. He's had a nice night tonight for Sumter. So we won the toss at the beginning of the game. We chose to take it, so we had to kick it off here. And now Merchant has his team out on the field. This was a handoff to 22 around the right side, hit right at the line of scrimmage, and we bring him down for no gain.
Great tackle by number 4, Trey Brown.
So Trey, who mostly plays on offense, is out there now playing a little linebacker for the Landsharks. And it'll be second down, a little bit less than 10 yards for the Gamecocks. They really need to put a scoring drive together here in this third quarter. They're trailing in this game 21-0. Merchant puts number 37 in motion, his H-back. He dances around back there. Merchant wants to throw a screen over to the left side. He completes it. Tez Spahn makes the tackle right around the 40-yard line.
Good job there by Tez, and also aided by number 23, Maxie Mormon. I tell you what, when you see 37 go into that motion, I've seen it a couple times. He goes right, he goes left, he comes back right and puts on the gas. You know what play's happening right there.
Yep, same play we saw earlier, and that was number 8, Jordan Hayward, on that catch. Now it's third down. 6 yards to go for the Gamecocks, fighting for their lives, trying to avoid their first loss of the season, and frankly, trying to avoid a shutout here at Johnson Haygood. Merchant drops, throws it across the middle, complete. Across the 50-yard line. The receiver, number 8 again, Hayward, flags all over the place. Swish, what did you see?
Yeah, that was a hold on. I think it was 29, but
actually it was a receiver came back and blocked Jace out. It was a blind side blocking during the pass.
Well, if that wasn't it, number 2 on our side was being held pretty well there too. But let's see what they call. Face mask.
Oh, my. They called that on the Landsharks.
or just a face mask.
Ooh, that's quite
Wow.
And they're going to make this a long one too, Swish. Oh, my gosh.
We typically keep it pretty clean and straight on the officials, and we're not down there. We're up here, but I saw 2 things that didn't go the way that I would have expected it to be called there. But I didn't see the face mask. It was on the sideline, so I'm sure it happened, but should have been offsetting penalties at the very least.
Well, regardless, the Gamecocks now with a much better position than they might have been in, have it 1st and 10 on our 36-yard line, but they got one problem, no football.
Wow.
Now they have it, and it's actually going to be on our 28-yard line. A 15-yard face mask penalty really hurting us here. And now Merchant in great position to get a score on the board, fakes the handoff, throws it. Was it batted at the line?
I couldn't tell. It looked like it might have been. If it was, it kind of skipped up and went over the head of the intended receiver.
Our defensive line has been giving Mr. Merchant everything he can handle. We've got some big fellas out there, including number 73, Monroe Freeling, on that defensive line. Timmy Castine out there. Mike Jones.
I tell you, I like the play call from Sumter. That's the first time I think they've thrown on first down. Traditionally, we've seen them hand off.
And everything comes to a screeching halt here. The referee blew his whistle. He's coming over to our sideline. Play stopped. It's a 2nd down and 10. The referee had something to say to our head coach.
The music? Oh, of course.
I think there's an issue with the music.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how that happens at South Florence, but it can't happen here. So. false start.
So, yep, that's going to cost the Gamecocks 5 yards. And seeing some penalties here early in the third quarter. We're almost down to the 10-minute mark as the referee marches 5 yards off. And the Gamecocks are now looking at a 2nd down and 15, not cashing in quite yet, at least, on this golden opportunity for them to put some points on the board. We don't know if they have a field goal kicker. We may find out. Merchant, though, is in the backfield with 22. Oh. It's a bad snap. The ball's on the ground. 22 falls on it, though, and the Gamecocks are going to retain possession at the 42-yard line.
Snap hit number 37 in motion coming across off the face mask and bounced out. So that was a timing issue on the center quarterback exchange.
So they're going to need a little bit of a miracle here. This is a 3rd down and more yards than this guy can count. It's about 25, it looks to me like.
Yeah, here you don't have to get it all back at once, right? It's a prime time for them to try to throw a screen play right here. Let's see what they come up with.
Sumter 1 for 3 tonight on 4th downs. Merchant drops back. He's pressured. He's still trying to throw it downfield. He's hit. He's tackled. I don't know what happened. The ball wound up in the hands of another Sumter player, number 70, one of their offensive linemen. He might have picked up a fumble there, Swish.
He did, but he got up and tried to run with it, and they called the ball down, but we were right on top of him anyway. So
now it's 4th down, and our defensive line pressure has been a decisive factor here in the night. Merchant has not had much of an opportunity to throw it downfield, but you know what? Let's give credit to our defensive backs as well. And Sumter is going to punt it, something they haven't done a whole lot of tonight. We call a fair catch at about our 22-yard line.
That's number 14, Gavin Gaspar, first time onto the field tonight, but he does a good job. I always get so nervous when they call that fair catch and you're waiting for it to bobble out, but he sucked that thing right in.
And I would have liked to see him wave a little bit higher on that one. He didn't lift his hand very much.
You might remember him. He did a great job, only a second-year football player, but as a JV player, he was our punt return man, and he had never done it before. They stuck him back there, and he found out that he could do a pretty good job doing it. So
I think he played a little quarterback too, didn't he, as a backup on the JV team?
Wrong Gavin, different Gavin.
Different Gavin.
2 Gavins. That's Gavin Welch.
Too many Gavins on this team. Somebody needs to do something about that. 1st and 10, we got it now on the 23-yard line in our own territory. Trey Brown goes in motion, and it's going to be a handoff to Vaughn Blue. He's hit behind the line. Brought down for a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, you got to right now. One of the things they probably had to change. Let's watch what their linebacking core does, because I almost feel like they've got 1 or 2 guys just assigned to Vaughn every time. They are shooting gaps, and they're going to try to hit him before he can get anything going. So let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and Vaughn's checking himself out right now too.
And that's going to bring in A.J. Johnson, number 9 or 8, not sure which. What is that, an 8 or a 9?
That's A.J. coming in, number 9.
All right, so.
Boy, that changes the whole complexity for our offense.
Edward Reidenbach, our quarterback, takes the snap. Edward wants to throw it. He's got lots of time, complete over the middle to Trey Brown, the tight end. Trey has it close to the 1st down, but not quite there. It's about 1.5 yards short.
Man, he had all day to throw that ball. All day. Great protection.
No kidding, and he stayed in the pocket. He didn't have to roll out at all, barely had to step up. Credit our offensive line playing a really tough defense here tonight and giving him time.
So let's watch and see what they do here, and then between the A and B gaps, let's see if they fill pretty hard. Look at them. They're right there. They know it's jumped off again. Boy, that's frustrating for Sumter.
Sure is, and it's going to be a nice development for the Shark fans as we're going to pick up a 1st down for free. And that'll give it to us 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. We're in our own territory. Sharks pitching a shutout here in the 3rd quarter, 21-0. Not sure if my voice is going to make it all the way to the end of this game, as Edward has 4 wideouts now, split evenly. Vaughn Blue still not out there. A.J. Johnson is.
They're in a cover 0. There is no one deep here. So let's see if we take advantage of it. This is where Chad Wilkes shines.
Edward
Yep.
faked the handoff to A.J. again. Lots of time. He had a man over the middle. Oh, my goodness. It was well covered, well thrown, but he couldn't quite complete that one to Bryce Bennett. Bennett just running a post pattern across the middle of that field. Edward saw it, threw it, but just couldn't quite close it out.
Coach Wilkes saw what I just saw again. I saw that last night. They go to a cover 0. They're bringing the house, and they've got man-on-man matchups. So if you've got one that you like, you try to exploit it, and that was exactly what we did. And that ball was right there to be caught, and there were some yards to be had afterwards as well. But
2nd and 10 now for the Landsharks. Edwards got a tight formation. Jace goes in motion over on the left side. Lots of pressure. Toss over the middle, completed. It's going to be a first down across the 50-yard line. Bryce Bennett.
I love it. He go right back. Just like when their number 8 dropped that big pass, they went back to it. I love going right back to Bryce there.
And I saw both of Bryce's parents as I was coming in here today. They're really proud of how he's playing this season, and they should be. He's a senior.
That was a big pickup for Bryce.
Yeah, he's got sure hands, and, he runs those patterns in a predictable way. He's where he needs to be on the field. And Edward now has got that 1st and 10 right around midfield, cover 0 on the defense, but a whistle blows.
Now we got Timmy has to come out for some kind of an equipment issue. Mike Jones is going to take his place. Again, they're in that cover 0. There's no one back there. They've got man-on-man coverage. So let's see if we go back and do something about it here.
So now Ben Britton goes to guard. Mike Jones goes to tackle on the right side of that line. Hand off to A.J. He tries the left side. A.J. Johnson bulling his way up to close to the 45-yard line.
The other thing to keep note here is sustaining a drive like that is chewing clock down. We're already at the 5-minute and 40-second mark in the third quarter.
And Chad Wilkes really likes to get a lot of plays in, likes to run a lot of quick no huddle, but not now, not when you're leading 21-0 in the third quarter. And we are kind of taking our time, looking now at a 2nd down, 7. Edward drops back. Again, he's rushed by the ends, completes it over on the left side. I think that's Bryce again. He has a first down.
Bryce is an emotionless kid. I don't think I've ever heard him say a word in his life. I haven't seen him smile a whole lot, but I think he might be a little upset with himself for that big drop, and now he's like, give me the ball, let's make it happen. So 2 big catches, 2 big first downs for Bryce.
And we got Von Blue back in.
That's some good news from Scott Krafchick. Vaughn, 24, back out there, our star running back. A.J. has done a serviceable job in place of Vaughn, who hurt his thumb. I can't remember if it's his right or left.
Boy, Edwards sitting there with his hands like he doesn't know what play we're running. That's
1st and 10. Edward looking out there with 4 wideouts, takes the snap, has time, drops into the pocket. Jace Krafchick has it across the 20, 15, 10. Jace is going to go all the way into the touchdown. Touchdown, Jace Krafchick. And the Landsharks put 6 more points on the board. What an impressive display.
I like when you get excited. It makes me happy.
Yeah, it's because I am happy. It's so good to see Jace out there having the senior season that he so deserves to have. Making big play after big play, and I said it earlier, it seems like whenever he makes a catch, it really matters. That one for a score, his 2nd of tonight.
Well, he's 6'3", 225. He's just a beast of an athlete. He's strong, he's fast, and his best asset, he's a heck of a smart kid. And you know what? He's pretty humble too, man. I just like seeing him have a big year here.
I don't know what happened to his brother. He used to be operating the camera for us, but I haven't seen Tyler in a while.
I did not get a 2-week notification of resignation, and he's got his old man on camera. I actually like Tyler's camera work better than Scott's.
Yeah, he's way better.
Oh, yeah. Tyler's the best cameraman we've ever had. There's no question about that. And we're going to find out why he's not showing up for the job. We got 4:33 here in the third quarter, Swish, and my goodness, the Gamecocks have got to be over there saying, what in the world have we gotten ourselves into down here in the Holy City?
Sorry, picture time.
All right, we took a picture. I'm not very photogenic. I didn't have time to suck in my gut. I hope it was only a face shot.
Hey, these filters, you got to watch out. Scotty's kind of tricky. He probably puts making me and you look a lot older on those.
Well, I'm definitely the old man of the crew, but nobody's having more fun than me tonight as we're really rolling 28-0. This has got to be the best game of the season for us. Of course, we had a bye week to get ready for this one as Jake Rook kicks it off deep. That's going to be into the end zone. They're going to have a touchback, and Sumter is going to come back out and see if they can salvage something here, hopefully from their standpoint to avoid a shutout.
Well, like we said, coming out of the coming back into broadcast before the start of the second half, they aren't going to roll over, and we're going to see. My expectation is they're going to get a little bit scrappier here, even.
Well, I'm not going to say they're rolling over, but their last drive was not very impressive. They had a couple fumbles, and they moved backwards a lot. And Merchant is going to take a bad snap here around his feet, completed a little bubble screen over to the left side, number 25 on the catch. That's Terrence Burgess, his first catch of the day.
Yeah, they do. You know what I like about what they do is they do a good job of a quick game, getting the ball into their playmakers' hands and try to make something happen in space.
And they know now that they got to get it out of that quarterback's hands quickly because our defensive line has been in that backfield with him all day. Now he's got a 2nd and 5. Merchant rolls out to the right side. He's mobile but doesn't run a lot. Throws it complete. First down all the way up to their 45-yard line.
Yeah, knocked out of bounds there by number 33, A.J. Zarzaka. But I tell you what, they're you obviously you get a sense that they have no sense of urgency right now, and they're going to try to go hurry up quick, and they're going to go wide. They can't get anything going up the middle on us. So they're going to go wide to their receivers here.
Jordan Hayward on that catch. This handoff is to the running back, number 22, but man, we hit him and he only picked up about a yard. John Peoples has had a lot of carries here tonight, but he really hasn't been able to bust one for very long.
Well, you got to keep our defense honest by throwing on right up the gut every now and then, but I'm expecting to see a lot more in the air from Sumter now.
Yeah, those quick tosses out to the edge seem to be working a little better for them, but here they got a 2nd down and 8, 3.5 minutes. It's an option, pitch back to Peoples. He gets right up and probably picked up that first down. He did. They're going to mark it at the 46-yard line. They're still in Shark territory, but barely.
Good blocking from Sumter on that right side of their squad there. Kind of pinned our guys in and sprung that good run there.
So now they got a fresh first down, close to midfield. Merchant throws it quickly out to his wide receiver on the right side. He dances for a couple. Not a lot of yards there. That was number 4 on the catch. He's had a couple of them tonight, Frederick Edwards.
I got to tell you, our defense was not set then. I mean, we do that lineup thing, and all of a sudden we're scrambling, but they're getting ready to snap the ball, and we're still moving, trying to get in position.
Yeah, the Gamecocks trailing are moving really fast. A quick pass. That one's to the H-back over on the right side. We finally drag him down, but not until he gets to the 25-yard line, and that's number 37, William Dinkins IV.
I love that kid. But look, they're going. It's almost like it's a 2-minute good. See, our coaches are not real happy, and they shouldn't be. They just called a timeout. These guys are moving like their lives depend on it, and we're loafing around, and we're out of position, and we're not paying attention. So it's a great timeout call. Coach Dave Salazzo, I can hear him from up here. But if we don't get something fixed real quick, they're just going to march right in.
And they really are moving this one on what looks to be their best drive of the night. You got to figure the Landsharks could be back on their heels a little bit with this 4-touchdown lead, but that's not what you want to see.
No. Like I said, I told you they were going to come out scrappy, and they are scrapping right now. So it's not a surprise that they're moving the ball like this right now.
So we've got Monroe Freeland out there on that defensive line. Mike Jones, I think. Timmy Castine. Not sure who that right over there. It looks like Jace. No, that's not Jace. I'm not sure who that is over on the right side.
Well, you got Ben Britton, Monroe Freeling, Dylan Baker, and Timmy Castine as your 4 down linemen.
All right, that's Dylan I was looking at. High snap. Quick throw again to the wide receiver on the right side, but this time we wrap him up. Not going to get but a couple of yards. That'll make it 2nd and 8.
Hey, they pretty much everything they're doing right now are screens and some picks and such. They execute it well, but we better wake up and they continue to do that, make an adjustment and try to – they're going, like I said earlier, they're just going wide to the sidelines on these screens and trying to get in space and run, and it's working right now. So you'd like to see us make an adjustment and do something about it.
Quarterback's playing option now, pitches it back to Peoples, 22. Ooh. We knock him out of bounds at about the 12 or 13-yard line. Let's make it the 13.
That was Zach Hagan on with a big, big hit on Peoples there.
That'll make it 3rd down, about 3 to go. Clock at 2:06. We're in the 3rd quarter, and the Landsharks are up by 4 touchdowns, 28-0, but the Gamecocks knocking on the door, but they got to convert here on a 3rd down, or else they'll have to probably go for it again on 4th, where they've made 1 out of 3 attempts today. This is sort of a wildcat formation they're showing. They had the quarterback under center, and then it was a high snap to Peoples direct in the backfield. Peoples has the 1st down. He gets all the way down to the 5-yard line, and that's the first time we've seen that formation tonight.
Actually, 2nd time. I was getting ready to say, much like when we go into that power-heavy set and we've got Vaughn on direct snap, you know it's going right to 22 when you saw Merchant coming out here to the left side, and it's they don't care that we know what's happening because they're going to try to jam it down our throats here. So,
well, they really want to get in and score here to eliminate this shutout. Again, Peoples takes the direct snap, going around the right side. A flag comes in holding territory there, Swish.
Yep.
And a holding penalty would really hurt them on this drive.
Well, they're putting the offense on the shoulders of 22 Peoples right now, which I don't blame them. I'd probably do the same thing as well, too. But that is a big move back, bit of a momentum buzzkill for Sumter. But let's see what they do. They're bringing in another package now. Looks like more of their skill guys are coming back out.
Peoples has had a lot of carries tonight.
You might get some of that pickle juice in him to make sure he's not cramping up over there. He's been a workhorse for them.
So it's 1st and 15, 1st and goal from the 15. High snap to Merchant. Merchant drops back. He's pressured. He runs up the middle. We tackle him.
Maxie Mormon on that. On that big hit there.
That's one of the few times Merchant has actually run it today.
About a minute left here in the 3rd quarter as Robert's taking a drink of water. That urgency is slowed down a little bit on Sumter, but you know that they're licking their chops right now. They want to punch one into the end zone.
All right, now it's 2nd down and goal. The ball on the 17-yard line. Bad snap. The ball's on the field, and we've got it.
I was getting ready to make a comment. That is 4 snaps in a row that have been at the face or above when he snapped at the Peoples and when he snapped at the Merchant right there. And what a buzz kill for the Gamecocks.
Oh, my goodness, Swish. If you're a Gamecock player over there, you got to be thinking, oh, no, we had it inside the 5-yard line. We were really running it, and that's really loud you got going there. So, I don't know what you're doing, Scott, but fix it. You fix it, and just don't blow my eardrums out. You got it?
Yeah, that is after coming out and establishing a drive, a really good drive, a great drive, their best drive of the night, very sustainable, a lot of high energy, moving the ball quickly. That could not have broken their back any worse. That was a tough turnover there.
All right, having some equipment issues over here. And, yeah, that's better. Handoff.
That's Zach Hagan on.
Zach Hagan on, yeah, up to the 35, only picked up a couple.
We know his old man's not going to shell out any more money for touchdowns. He told me to tone that rhetoric down on our broadcast.
Vaughn Blue back out there on the field as Zach comes back over to the sideline. The 3rd quarter really going to come to an end fairly shortly here. We're 20 seconds away. We don't have a play clock, so we don't know if the Sharks are going to have to run a play, but I don't think they will because they're all meandering over to the sidelines. And they're raising up their hands with the number 4 as we head into the 4th quarter. here at Johnson Haygood Stadium. And man, what a night for the Oceanside Landsharks, putting it together in all phases of the game.
You couldn't ask for a more complete game and execution from the Landsharks tonight. It just seems like everything's firing on all cylinders. And we've got some stats here after the end of the third quarter. Let me check and see what we've got here. Are these just cumulative?
Team stats.
Yeah, team stats. So total offense, Sumter's at 191, Oceanside at 246. Passing 130 to Oceanside's 128. Rushing, Sumter 61, Oceanside 118. And let's see here. Vaughn Blue on the rushing attack for us, 14 attempts, just shy of 100 yards. He's got 98 yards with an average of 7 yards per carry, and that's maybe with a potential broken thumb even. We got to get that x-rayed tomorrow. A.J. Johnson comes in with 3 carries, 16 yards, and punches in a touchdown. And we got Reidenbach on a rushing touchdown as well, too.
Man, 10 of 13.
Yeah, 10 of 13 with a bum-busted-up ankle for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns, both to Jace Krafchick. Man, just having a whale of a game.
Better give it back to Bill because we're starting up here in the fourth quarter. Edward Reidenbach standing on the 30-yard line, puts a man in motion. That's a new H-back. We'll figure out who it is in a second. He hands it off to Vaughn. Vaughn crosses the 40 up to the 43-yard line before they bring him down.
Man, just duck that shoulder down, and he is going for it every time he's got the ball this year. Robert, he was fantastic last year, but he is just taking it to the next level.
Bryson Cuffey and number 23, Jeremiah Horace, teamed up to tackle Vaughn on that play, but he had enough for a first down for the Landsharks. And at this point, our defense is looking, of course, they're not on the field, but they're thinking shutout. And what a statement that would be. One stat I want to know is how many carries number 22 has on the night. Vaughn with another one gets it up to the 45-yard line.
Got a couple of new receivers in. Number 15, Ethan Baldwin, I see is on the field now. And then we've got Zach Hagan on split out wide as Vaughn comes off, and A.J. is going to give him a spill again. So Vaughn still, marching the ball downfield, but he's conversing with Antoine Rivens right now, just talking about
life in general.
Yeah, what he's seeing from his front guys there, though. But A.J. Johnson in the backfield now with Edward.
So Edward, your quarterback, puts his H-back in motion. You got to tell me who that is.
It's Cole Strickler.
Wow, that's Cole. A.J. takes the carry. He gets up really close to the 50. Let's call it the 48-yard line. And now we're going to have a third down and about 6 yards to go. Probably a throwing situation. I don't know, though. Dylan Baker comes in number 11. I don't know if he's going to play running back or H-back.
Yep. This is where it hurts not having Tuck Swish serviceable right now to come in as well, too.
So Dylan is going to be the running back. He's a big, strong guy, but he's going to block on this play. Oh, my goodness, the pass was a little bit too high for the receiver over here on the left side. Number 3, Zach Hagedon.
So I'm not seeing let's see what we do here from it's fourth down. We talked about earlier a stat. We've not gone for it on a fourth down, and it doesn't look like we're going to now.
So Jake Rook, number 10, is going to come in and do the punting.
And traditionally, that's our quarterback, Edward Reidenbach, but with that bum ankle that he's got tonight, doesn't make sense putting that responsibility on him. And I saw Jake punting in pregame and actually doing quite a good job.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You haven't seen much of a decline on our punting. This one's a bullet all the way down, and it's bobbled at the 5-yard line by the guy with the orange shoes. That's number 19, I think, the safety, who we haven't really talked about a lot tonight. He goes down.
Boy, that could have been
20-yard
disastrous for the Sumter Gamecocks. Man, he was down to the 1-yard line.
That's Zaire or Zier Gamble. I'm not sure which. But he's got an offer to play football at Appalachian State.
That was a bullet of a punt.
It really was. It was a line drive.
Didn't give our guys a lot of time to get down in coverage, but that bobble, That was a tough punt to catch. So that was hard.
Yeah, I was going to say that line drive coming straight at you is not what you're used to as a punt receiver. Merchant back there now drops the ball, then tries to throw it, and we bat it down at the line.
Boy, that was almost a pick by Dylan Baker. It was a screen, a little side screen over here. Dylan had a beat on it. It was a bad snap to begin with which throws the timing off on something like that kind of a play, which is really critical. And Dylan was right there. Again, another play of disaster avoided.
Second down, 10 yards to go for Sumter on their own 20-yard line. Merchant takes the snap. This one's a little high, throws it across the middle. It's complete. The receiver picks up 6.
I got to tell you, I don't know, kind of feel badly for the center for Sumter. He's had a whale of a night. You don't know if that's because of the defensive pressure. He's been taking the brunt of it all night long, but we've seen a lot of high snaps. We've seen a snap on the timing against number 37's face mask. So it's been tough.
That was Jordan Hayward on the catch. He's had quite a bunch of them tonight. I'd like to see how many catches he's had too. Third down, 3 yards to go for the Gamecocks. Fake the handoff. H-back gets it. He's rumbling down the field down the left sideline. They get him all the way up to the 46-yard line and a first down for Sumter.
There we got a flag on our sideline.
And my voice is held up till pretty late in the fourth quarter, but
I don't know if that was on either Coach Dave Salazzo or Justin McIntyre, but I saw it unfold, and let's see what kind of call we get here. And this is what here we are at under 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. Our defense has done a great job, and
that'll be
well, they're obviously seeing something that they don't like, and maybe they were just chirping a little too hard, but it's not what you want right here.
15-yarder. And now it's on our 39-yard line. 9.5 to go. Sumter really wanting to put some points on the board here at least.
But they're not doing anything downfield. It's east and west right now rather than north, right? So they're not taking shots. They're just kind of chipping away right now. It's working too.
We got 2 safeties out there. Zach Hagedon, I'm not sure who the other one is. This is a handoff. Ain't going nowhere.
There's that dance, that orchestrated ballet that Timmy likes to spin and then lay them down gently.
It's almost like you could hear the Nutcracker playing as he did a little ballet back there in the backfield.
I was thinking it's like a shark attack.
And we'll just leave that one right where it is. 8:53 on the clock. It's moving. Second down now and 12. After that, Timmy Castine, disruptive tackle. Merchant's got a man in motion over on the right side. Flag goes up.
Let's see, false start.
Yeah, false start. Their offense, they really have made a lot of mistakes in this game, Swish.
Yeah, just as I said, it seems like everything's kind of clicking and firing right for Oceanside. Sumter just doesn't seem like it's had a chance to get things put together in a sustainable fashion, and they've had some pretty rough turnovers.
So now it's second down and about 16 or so to go for the first. Wide receiver on the right side goes in motion. Merchant looks over to his left, has the receiver. I don't think that was complete. And they're saying it was not. It was close to own target, but a little bit too low for that receiver to bring it in. Trying to see who that is. That was number 22, the running back, Peoples. He was the receiver there. They've got him split wide out to the left. No, they don't. He's in the backfield.
Timmy Castine with 4 tackles for a loss and 2 sacks.
That's 29 is the wide receiver over there on the left side.
And
that's Terrence Burgess. Third down now.
timeout.
16, and Sumter wants to have a little time to think about it.
Yeah, Bill just said Timmy's had four tackles for losses, 2 sacks tonight. He's having one of the best defensive nights I've seen Timmy have in a long time. And he's going both ways, which he typically doesn't.
And the other guy is Ben Britton on that defensive line, who's had a real big night. He's been disruptive. He's been back there in the quarterback's face, even though he probably doesn't have as many. How many tackles for loss does Ben have? one.
But the pressure that Ben has put on the quarterback, tracing him all over the backfield, has been a huge factor in.
And Swish, you know, we had a couple of penalties we didn't like, but other than that, I'm not really thinking of anything that's going wrong for the Sharks tonight. I mean, we've really took advantage of that bye week to get our ducks in a row.
They seem rested. They seem rested and ready to play some football tonight.
When the Sharks get their ducks in a row, you better look out, because they're going to make some waves. I'm trying to think of what else I can say about that. Water metaphor. Merchant, the quarterback, still with number 22, this time over to his left side. He's got a long third down. He drops back. He wants to throw it. It's high in the air downfield.
There's the shot that I was looking for them to take, but that was nowhere close to being a completion.
No, it wasn't. Trying to see who that was on the coverage. You may know.
Number 10, Jake Rook.
Okay, Jake Rook. I should have known. And he's had a good night tonight on defense and special teams.
I think this fourth down was just too long for them to even try to attempt with 8:15 left in the game. So I'm a little surprised, but they're not going for it here.
Man, Sumter, this is just a shock.
We don't have anyone back deep.
Punter puts it up. It bounces in Sumter's favor. It's going to die inside the 5-yard line.
Touchback.
Oh, my gosh. All they had to do was touch the ball.
They didn't need to touch it. They just let it die because it was going to die on the 1.5-yard line. And again, just nothing going Sumter's way.
Yeah, really. They really
You know what?
are having a tough night.
We've had those nights here. Boy, they sure don't feel good. So.
Yeah, I got to say it. They don't look like a 5-0, 5A team tonight. I thought Carolina Forest may have looked a little better. I know South Florence did.
Yep.
South Florence now is ranked number 1 in 4A.
We took them to the wire.
They beat us by 1 point. That's the only loss this year for these Landsharks. And now we got it. First and down on our 20. Hand off to the back. I think that was Vaughn.
It is.
And he picked up 3 or so. I'm not sure why we got Vaughn. Here comes A.J. Johnson out onto the field.
Yeah, you're right. At this point, we don't need Vaughn out there. Let's let him take a rest right now. A.J. is every bit as capable. He's not got the breakaway speed, but he's got the pound and ground when you just want to sustain some first down drives here, continue to chew the clock. We're at 7.5 to go in the fourth quarter, and we are not executing that Coach Chad Wilkes hurry-up offense by any stretch.
And you wonder if we might see Will Virgilio or Devin Yard, the backup quarterbacks, at some point, as A.J. takes Wilson up the middle and got about a yard.
Come on, guys.
We're just keeping the clock going, and we'd like to keep those chains moving. It's third down now and about 4, maybe 5. And the Landsharks watch the clock move past the 7-minute mark. Edward clapped his hands, and then everybody looks over.
He's trying to get him to jump there, Robert.
They didn't fall for it this time, but they have a couple of times tonight, and those were big plays when they did. Edward is hit as he throws it. It's a duck floater, and we couldn't quite get to it. We're lucky that wasn't intercepted, frankly. Bryce Bennett, the intended receiver, and he did a very nice job trying to get back to that ball. I don't even know if he was the intended receiver, actually.
Yeah, Edwards' arm got hit as he was coming forward with it, and stops the clock at 6:34.
Jake Rook now in to punt it as we have a 4th and 4. About 6.5 to go in this ball game. Beautiful night here. And the Sumter crowd is still sitting in those stands, man. They're sticking it out. Give them credit. Those Gamecock fans are a little more hardy than the ones in Columbia who left before halftime last week against Georgia. And I'm saying that as a big Gamecock fan myself.
There's probably lots of fun tailgating going on up there.
Yep. Probably not a lot going on here.
Nope.
Those guys are looking at almost a 2-hour drive home. And they really want to put some points on the board here and avoid this shutout, and it'll be interesting to see. Our defense, I think, is really fighting to keep it. Merchant, low snap, wants to throw, fakes it, then throws it.
Oh.
The receiver is almost sliced into two at his waist. Big hit by Zach Hagedon.
Man, Merchant quarterback did a good job ejecting out to the left there. There was a couple times I thought we may get a little strip sack action from behind, but he did a good job finding an eligible receiver. Good pickup there for them.
One thing about their quarterback, he really does have a good feel in the pocket. And he throws this quick bubble screen over to the left side, and number 29, who I think has the first down, that's Terrence Burgess. He's got a few catches tonight.
That's about the only thing that's working right for those guys are those quick out routes or those quick screens, and it's moving the chains, but it's probably a little late.
You know, their running game is kind of weird. They could get a couple of good runs, but then they don't get one when they really need it. Merchant dropping back again. He's got a bunch of receivers downfield. He's hit hard. He's on his back. He wants a flag. He doesn't get one. He doesn't have a receiver anywhere near that ball.
Well, Timmy didn't lay him down gently on that one, but at least he came back and grabbed his hand and pulled him back up. So
now it's a 2nd and 10. Merchant looking over to the sidelines. Another throwing situation, but he's still got Peoples with him in the backfield. He's going to do that little option pitch. That didn't fool, I think, Ben Britton over there on the right side. Is that Ben?
yeah, Ben sniffed that one out. A little extracurricular going on with our number 3 and their 29 on that sideline. So it's been a really good sportsmanship played game. I haven't seen any kind of chippiness. The only thing that got a little rowdy was our 2 coaches over here, John a little bit on the officials. But other than that, it's been a very respectable game between both squads.
Now we're going to a three-man line. We got an extra defensive back in there on this 3rd and 10. Merchant drops, and he's sacked in the backfield.
And who again?
Timmy Castine. Oh, my goodness. He's going to have a stat sheet to frame and put on his wall. That's his 3rd sack of the night.
Man, I've just we've all watched Timmy play ball since a young kid here in Mount Pleasant, and this is by far the best performance I've seen Timmy Castine ever have.
He was ready tonight. And now Sumter's waving the white flag. They're going to punt it. It's a nice high punt.
Stay away.
Bounces. We're just let it go. It's going to take a Sumter bounce and put us way back inside our 10-yard line.
That's what they should have done the last time.
Yeah, those little mistakes, there have been way too many of them. I don't want to get in the head of the Sumter team, but you got to wonder if they realize how good this Oceanside team is.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I don't like getting caught up in the rankings or how many A's you've got behind your classification. When you get in the top 5 to 10 teams of each class, they're all good. You know what I mean? They're all good teams.
Well, and you look at the AA teams in the top 5, they're familiar. Barnwell, Saluda, Abbeville, and Oceanside is on the top of that list at number 1 by at least some. There are a number of different folks who do those rankings, but we're in the top 5 in all of them. Edwards still in there, I think. Yep, and he hands it off to A.J. Johnson. And give credit to that defender. He really flipped the big guy, A.J., over. He doesn't get tackled like that very often. No positive yardage on that play.
So we're just milking the clock here, which is to be expected. We're at the 4-minute mark.
You know, I got to say Marlboro County was better than Sumter, too. At least they played better in the one game where we saw them. That was a home game for Marlboro. Boy, they had a great atmosphere there. It was we had some issues with some of the stuff that happened, but they really got to give them credit. Put on quite a show, barbecuing and tailgating and all that kind of stuff. Whistle blows, timeout. Oceanside.
Well, that was pretty planned. Coach Wilkes had it timed down to the last second on the play clock and called the timeout. And here's, I mean, what do you say? Just protect the ball. We're going to run it. We shouldn't throw the ball. Protect the ball. Try to get the first down. And chalk this one up.
Well, Chad Wilkes, first-year head coach, 30 years old, comes in here and is just making a statement in his first season. He knows he's got a good team, and he keeps saying we're going to win the state championship. That's our only goal.
That's. I like his optimism. I tell you what, the everything from the way that we practice to the way we study film, to the way we prepare, the way we put it on the field, you can see game by game we're getting better.
So now we got a 2nd and 10, 3:36 on the clock. Vaughn takes the handoff.
Stay in bounds.
Runs out of bounds at the 12. Probably shouldn't have done that. He picked up about 5, maybe 4. Let's call it 4.5 on that play.
Well, we call a timeout, and then we run the ball out of bounds. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but.
Yeah, that was a little mistake. One you don't want to repeat in another game that's a little closer than this one.
Good point.
We got 4 wideouts now. Vaughn's still in at running back. Edwards still in at quarterback. Vaughn moves from the left side to the right. Our offensive line has done an incredible job tonight. I say that as Edward has to dodge some pressure, and he completes it downfield. Bryce.
Gavin Gaspar.
Oh, Gavin Gaspar. All right.
He is that kid, I'm telling you, he's got great hands. Sophomore that's been chomping at the bit to get on the field and show what those hands can do. And he went high on that one and pulled it down. Great catch, Gavin Gaspar.
Nice catch. And Edward with a nice zinger in there. And that's enough to give us a first down. And we're on our 23-yard line. Clock at 3:12 and moving. Edward takes this one, hands it off to Vaughn. Vaughn is caught at the line of scrimmage, and a whole bunch of white jerseys.
Below the whistle. Vaughn's having a hard time. He's not carrying the ball in his right hand at all, which I get him out of there. We just don't need him to be in there. It doesn't make any sense.
I can't disagree with you.
I mean, he had 5 guys on him trying to hold the ball in with his left hand. If I'm Sumter, I'd be trying to punch that thing out like Marvin Hagler speed bagging a workout session.
Vaughn well over 100 yards tonight, as he has in every game this season. Edward completes a pass over to the right side.
Trey Brown,
the tight end, on the catch. And that's going to put us at about a 3rd down and 8. If we could get a first down here, we'd be getting pretty close to putting a ribbon on this shutout. I don't want to jinx us, though.
Robert, we're at the 2-minute mark. Tua.
We don't have a play clock, so we can't tell how far Edwards running it down before he snaps it. Here he's got 4 wideouts. He wants to throw it again lots of time. Finally, Edward throws it over to the left side, complete.
Trey Brown.
All the way up to the 45-yard line, and Trey has a first down. I think that's his 3rd catch of the night.
Take the knee, get in victory formation. Landsharks, what an amazing game played by Oceanside tonight, Robert.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to be in a fight for our lives. I didn't think we'd get blown out, but I had no idea it would be a 28-0 score in our favor.
Never would have I imagined that either.
And got to give, all phases of the game credit. As I said earlier, just not a lot of bad things have happened. Not a lot of mistakes, not a lot of weird stuff. As we take a knee here and just let that clock go down close to the minute mark.
Look at Vaughn Blue. Look at Edward. Man, these guys are pumped.
Man, our crowd is giving it to them.
They deserve the credit right now.
Edward Reidenbach is having some fun. So is Vaughn Blue. Both of them pretty animated out there on the field celebrating this shutout.
Let's make sure we don't have any funny business here. Sumter, take the knee.
Edward,
good.
under center.
There she is, baby.
That should do it.
Robert, what a great game. Pleasure calling it with you tonight.
Yeah, this has been a fun one, Swish. One I might want to look back on.
It's a statement win for the Landsharks. It sets us up moving into region play that starts next Friday night here at Johnson Haygood against Lake Marion. But if you're Chad Wilkes and staff and team and fans, man, it is a great night to be an Oceanside Landshark.
Swish, how about take a look at those game stats, and let's thank Bill for his great work tonight on the stats.
Let me run down here. We've got total offense, and I'll say Sumter first, and then Oceanside 221 to 302. Passing was even at 167 and 164. Their quarterback Merchant was 18 of 28, pretty good.
Not bad.
Edward 13 of 18, pretty great. Rushing wise, 54 to 138. Majority of it on Vaughn Blue's shoulders. Vaughn ends the night with 19 attempts and 113 yards. You just can't say enough, and a lot of that was with a banged up thumb.
And 113, that may be his lowest yardage of the season.
Yep. Trying to see here. We're scrolling through. Yeah, Jace Krafchick has 4 receptions for 81 yards, an average of 20 with 2 tutties on the night. Let's see.
Star of the game, the defense.
Yeah, star of the game from Timmy Costine. 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. I just couldn't speak enough about the entire Oceanside squad tonight. It's just a dominating performance on every phase of the game, Robert.
Yeah, and maybe the one phase we haven't talked about enough in the game was our defensive backs. Because they really kept these receivers. They couldn't get anything downfield, partly because we had so much pressure on them, but those guys had to have good coverage too. So we thank you all for joining us. We thank our Sumter friends.
Ooh. What's going on here? There's a little something going on here afterwards. I don't know why the Sumter team is all in the middle of the field.
I don't know. But
nonetheless, let's close it down.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. And we'll be back next week, at least Swish will, with Scott Krafchick to do the Lake Marion game. And then I'll be back for it's a couple weeks after that for our second region game of the season. But for tonight, a huge win, one of the biggest in the history of this program. Biggest win of the season, no doubt. A shutout of a top 5A team by the Landsharks. Your final score, 28-0. Robert Brunson, Chris Swisher, our producer, Scott Krafchick. And, man, we're ending this thing just in time because I can barely talk anymore. Have a great weekend.